Welcome back to the Overwatch Open, anyone and everyone. After that last match, I'm getting ahead of myself. After that last match, we are down to only 3 teams in EU. We have Rogue and FaZe about to face off, and they are going to play, the winner is going to play against Misfits for that last spot, of course, to play on Friday, 10 p.m. TBS. This is Rogue right here. What can you tell me about these boys, ZP?
Well, what can you tell about Rogue is that they are one of the top teams in the game. They've been together for a long time and have some of the biggest fan favorites. Tavik, of course, not just a great player, but also one of the top streamers in the game. Big fan base for him. Goes all the way back to really early in the game. We used to be known as Pluppies, so he has quite a history. And AKM, of course, really, really solid performance on in-person events.
Of course, they're the defending champions, too.
Yes.
That's the big highlight here. They have the target on their back, and they're here to take names. They are waiting, and everybody's really looking towards EnvyUs, and they're the biggest ones. They're saying, you know what, we want to play this team, and they've had a little bit of rivalry. They've been going on it on Twitter right before this, and, you know, Rogue's a great team. I see them as a family, really.
Yeah, and they're just great, no doubt about it.
Yeah, the interesting thing, too, about Rogue, I mean, if you got a chance to watch their documentary, we learned a little bit about them as players. Really, like a team that came together through spirit and through agreements. You know, they just get along so well together, and family, I guess, is a big factor in this team coming together.
Speaking of family, they have 2 brothers, and isn't it so cute? Wins being the older brother, AKM being the hotshot younger brother, DPS. I see that.
AKM got taller.
Yeah.
much taller.
Wins ends up playing the supporting big brother role. AKM playing the role of the guy who just absolutely excels at these events. It's great.
It's cute. It's
You
very
know,
cute.
And I knew they were brothers. I didn't realize they were 9 years apart. That's pretty incredible to be
Yeah.
able to cooperate together on a professional team.
Yeah, well, they said they get an issue sometimes. They get a little tiffs, but I guess, you know, as family, you're always going to come back together, and you're going to be able to resolve those. So I think it's a cool factor. I mean, you rarely see that in esports, right? I mean, you rarely see that in traditional sports as well. I would love to play with my brothers, but they suck at the game. They suck.
You got to make them better. My brother's actually pretty good. He can carry.
Oh.
Well,
All right, well, there's a lot of good relationships on FaZe, but none of them are blood. These guys are brothers on the battlefield. We have Too Easy, Shadowburn, Ruckus, Forsaken, Fact Fiction, Zoms. Huck, this team is incredible. What do you know about FaZe?
They're very talented. I will say that. My biggest concern with them is, are they going to be on point with comms? Are they not going to tilt? And are they going to play to their true potential? They're a team that we've seen that are very effective at being aggressive. That's the #1 thing going for them. They are very shallow in some ways in that they don't have a lot of depth. You have, you know, Shadowburn, one of the best Genjis, if not the best Genji in the world, but he falls off considerably on other characters. Not because he's bad at other characters, just because he is so good at that Genji role.
And the other big thing about FaZe 2 is that they're one of the more scarier teams as a dark horse, where they don't always come out and play super strong, as evidenced by the fact that they had troubles yesterday. But you look at them today, you look at how Too Easy was absolutely having a huge day. Rogue can't go into this resting easily going, well, gee, normally we do pretty well against them, because there have been times where FaZe is being Rogue, and there have been times where FaZe has come out very, very strong. So this is a case where FaZe is scary, and given how we saw them play earlier today, I would be scared right now if I was Rogue.
I mean, I don't know if Rogue is too scared, but we did have a chance for Malik to catch up with wins and find out if he's shaking in his boots or not.
Thank you, Rachel. Wins, you had the incredible honor of cruising to victory yesterday after lots of strong matches. What did you and your brother do after you guys won? Did you guys just go out, celebrate? Did you guys chill, scrim?
No time to celebrate. Unfortunately, we had to get as much rest as possible, because the day before that, yeah, it was pretty crazy. We slept only 2 hours, so that was the primary goal, just rest.
Right, you guys were all pretty much falling out. All right, so you guys have FaZe up next. They're known to be very strong in control point maps. What do you guys think, though? Can you pretty much battle with them in control point maps? Do you think you can go toe-to-toe with them?
I think we can, but we can also avoid the map by binding them, which I think we are going to do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good idea, I would assume, because that's where their strong point is. As far as Shadowburn goes, do you guys have any specific strategies going up against him? Because he is a pretty dope DPS player.
No, I don't think we're going to change our playstyle just because Shadowburn, of course, he's very good. Of course, we have to take him into account, but we cannot change the whole strategy just because of him. So we're going to keep things as we've been playing right now.
You guys have a good front. Defense is the best offense. I like that. That's the good way to think about it, man. Well, I wish you the best of luck, man. Keep doing your thing, and we're going to send it back to the desk. Take it away, guys.
Thanks so much. Wins was just talking about the importance of maps and their selections, and here they are, starting things off on Hollywood, and then, ooh, is that Hanamura?
Hanamura has crept into our map pool, and this makes sense given what FaZe is able to do on your maps like Nepal, like Lijiang. It makes perfect sense as to why Rogue would not want to let it go there. You don't really want to deal with Shadowburn in that environment, so this makes perfect sense to me.
All right, Huck, who are you thinking to take this, knowing the map lineup now? Is it a Rogue or a FaZe match?
Knowing the maps are very heavily dependent on the results, I'm going to say Rogue, probably 3-1 or 3-0. I feel like FaZe's only chance to win is to be super aggressive and go as one.
I'm going to say that the key to victory here for Rogue is going forward and neutralizing some of the bigger players on FaZe. And you take a look at how FaZe plays, I feel like AKM is one of the big keys to victory here, because not only, as we saw in the NA groups with IDD, QD versus Seagull, not only can a really good McCree player shut down a Genji, but also it can do pretty well against 2Easy, who's either running another McCree himself or Tracer. So if AKM can come out and have a huge game, I think it's going to be a very long series for FaZe.
All right, great tips on what to watch out for as we head into this next match with Rogue and FaZe and our wonderful casters, Goldenboy and Anders.
Thank you, Rachel. We are indeed ready here. Rogue, obviously the favorite team going into this one, but you never know. We already, Shadowburn has been mentioned, and for good reason. What do you think, Alex? Are you up for taking like a really risky prediction here, or are you going to go with Rogue?
I'm going to quote my good friend Wins and say, nah. That's honestly, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I love FaZe. I mean, 2Easy, I have, you know, like, he's just my favorite person, right? I just think he's so awesome. But Rogue, man, like, this team, they were destined, in my personal opinion. This is a squad that's going to move forward to the EU final. But you know what, though? I would be very happy to see FaZe fight back into this one and really make this one a contest. So anything can happen. It's Overwatch, right? You know, and Rogue could very well crumble. Who knows?
Well, you know, one of the things that that I was sort of catching backstage a little before this game went on the way is just the idea that they were really confident. They felt like now that the REUNITED are out, this is just a clear run to the European finals. That's a dangerous mentality. FaZe hopefully have got something planned they're going to need to, and I look forward to seeing this match. We're underway. FaZe going to be on the offensive side and Rogue on the defensive side here on Hollywood. They need to unlock that first control point, unlock the payload, and then push it till the end. Shadowburn, and not on the Genji like we all love seeing, but he's on the Tracer, and he's still very good. In the back line here, already causing a bit of a distraction, forcing that Reinhardt shield to look a little bit both ways to try and cover the supports. It's not easy.
Yeah, he's just trying to get some nice poke damage here and distract Rogue, and just obviously, as you can tell, get behind that back line. FactFiction's going to push up as well. And so long as Zoms is going to be alongside him, I could see FactFiction being able to stay alive here. Shadowburn, though, will fall. Zoms goes down as well. And there goes FactFiction having to back away. And will use... I just want to say, that was such a well-done Maywall. But despite the best effort, that is going to be Raucus with that nano boost, charging FactFiction and then having him push in. But he is going to be by himself and in a world of hurt. But wow, just the mechanics there to read that was so cool.
Saving your teammate who has been earth-shattered and with the May roll. Well, I want to see a lot more of
Watch
that.
him taking a nap.
That is incredible.
That was cool. That was really cool. All right, so FaZe is going to get ready for the next attack here again, Anders. And that first one, a couple things to note there, right? They tried to send Shadowburn through the back and just flank and go for a little bit of pressure. But there goes the Graviton Surge dropping down, and that bio grenade from Ana is going to cause a lot of problems. AKM moves in, and one of the things ZP said was AKM had to have a big game, and so far, so good here for Rogue.
Is there any game we've seen so far to Rogue where AKM hasn't had a big game? I'm wondering. It's very impressive. And you see the difference in the defensive style here. First, they're very far back and they wait for FaZe to go all the way on the point. This time, they actually go on the offense just before and try and switch it up. So leaving FaZe guessing as to what's coming next. FactFiction, he does actually have the ult up on the Reinhardt. We'll see how that goes. Shadowburn going to be taking down AKM. That's a big victory won already. 2Easy coming out with the shotguns, doing more damage. Can he actually find this kill? He's got the ult himself. He's got the health for it. He could pop it, but FactFiction picking up 3 kills, and that's going to be enough here. Rogue getting shot out of this first point.
I want to say Wins did everything he possibly could to keep Reinforce alive. I mean, he dropped the bubble. He went in there and charged up first while Reinforce backed away a little bit, was looking to get a little bit more help from the support. But it just wasn't happening. And that really was just Fact Fiction working just beautifully with Too Easy to just cause as much damage as possible. But now, here we go as FaZe is going to begin the Streets phase on Hollywood. Let's see what they can do. Too Easy's going to dive in, but he's going to get earth-shattered right away and will get dropped. Still, though, with that nano boost, trying his best to follow up with another kill. But despite that, though, that was a very good opening here for Too Easy and crew. They're going to be able to push this payload forward.
Very, very well done. I mean, they did sort of try and take care of him, but by the time they did, he'd already taken out 2, so I would still say FaZe got quite a lot out of that combination. Still 3 minutes here, and honestly, FaZe are pushing at a very good pace right now, but Unco, he does have that nano boost ready, so they could try and fight back here, Rogue.
They want to go after that reinforce, because they know that that will be the target for the pulse bomb. And Shadowburn, wisely enough, backing away. But Rogue able to pick up 3, so this is going to have to be a disengage for FaZe. There's no reason why they continue to challenge this one. AKM cleans up Too Easy, and he will have Death Blossom as well, so look out for that. We can see yet another villainous combination of AKM and Unco, you know, syncing their ults together.
But in the ult economy right now, you can kind of tell that FaZe are actually quite a bit ahead right here. Even if Tavik is about to have the Blizzard up on May, it's still, I don't think, enough to deal with this. So much coming in now from the FaZe side. AKM going to be jumping down behind. Oh, what a big ult coming through. They're trying to shield it, but he's still got the nano boost up. He's already got the 1 kill and doing so much more damage. Reinforce will be going down, but AKM still cleaning up with the shotguns. It's going to be a quick triple for him, looking for the supports in the back line here. Going to be real tough, and Forsaken going to be going down. Just, that's a very good ultimate, and even worse, not only do they get that, they win at an ult disadvantage, and they make sure FaZe use all of theirs as well. That's impressive.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, like, Forsaken, man, he had the right idea. He popped that sound barrier, and that didn't really allow AKM to do as much damage as you know, ideally they would have liked. But regardless, though, it still was just a wonderfully played scenario there that worked out in Rogue's favor. But here you go now, flying in through Too Easy, won't find anything, gets nano boosted, dragged to the wall, reinforced, is having none of that madness, and they're just going to continue to put some presence here on the payload. But again, that is going to be another wasted Ana. Oh, luckily for them, Rockets will be able to develop that one fairly quick because Ana just charges her ult really fast in this current meta.
Okay, I'm going to be falling back right now. Reinforces managed to build an unreal amount of ultimate in very, very short time. He did a really good fire strike, and he also managed to get 2 charges in, and he's almost at 100%. There it is. He uses the Earth Shatter again. Reinforces doing so much work. AKM is doing great with the shotguns, but honestly, the ultimate speed there for Reinforce is really incredible. But it looks like FaZe are fighting through regardless here. Shadowburn now out on the Genji.
Wow, I just want to say again, right, like, at first it looked bad. At first it looked like AKM got nano boosted but had absolutely no support to be able to, you know, clear that one out. I mean, honestly, it just was just such a well-done play there. But in any case, so moving on to this next round, or to this next point here, you are going to have Reinforced and the crew just meeting him right at the front door. Fact Fiction looking to charge this one forward. And at this point, oh, there's a sound barrier, as a matter of fact, so they're looking to get right into the fight, but now it's going to be dueling sound barriers. Too Easy looking for it. Is he going to find it? Not getting any skulls just yet, but will take out wins, and that is going to be good because taking out a Zarya is always a plus. Too Easy with 2. Shadowburn cleans him up, and it seems like Shadowburn's starting to heat up on that trusty Genji.
Look at the momentum on FaZe right now. They came into this as the underdog, and like we said, Rogue came in feeling like this is going to be maybe an easy game for them, and it's always dangerous. They're pushing at a really rapid speed right now. It's going to come down to trying to hold on the point here. They do have people up and running. Shadowburn coming up, though. He's got the Dragon Blade, and now it's out on top of the Blizzard. Got to be careful he doesn't get frozen, but look at the damage. Shadowburn taking down 4 players, and that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. FaZe pushing through and overpowering Rogue, and I've got to say, their point hold on the first point was great, but FaZe came into their own after that. I am shocked and stunned.
Wow, Shadowburn. I didn't think that he was going to play a big role, maybe not in game 1, because of just how confident Rogue was in dealing, or in talking about how they were going to deal with Shadowburn, right? You know, there was just so much confidence. When I talked to Reinforce earlier, he made it seem like they were not concerned about it at all. You even heard in the interview with Wins, right? Because we had put a lot of emphasis on Shadowburn.
Yeah.
But it just did not seem to matter here. He came out swinging.
I feel like it is important to be confident, and if you're Rogue, then you should be, but there's always that risk. There's always that when it goes south, it can really crash. And I don't know how sort of veteran these players are in terms of sort of mental fortitude, you know. Some players can play for years in esports and still never get to that stage where they can take an upset loss in the first. This is a best of 5, so they have plenty of time to recover, right?
Oh,
but
yeah.
some players don't. Some players go on full tilt and then they just never come back from it. Not saying that's going to be Rogue, but I'd be a little bit careful. I'd want to sort of get a quick reset here mentally to get right back in it. It's FaZe now on the defense and Rogue getting a chance on the offense. And Tavik has picked up that Hanzo.
Yeah, so if he commits to the Hanzo, you know, obviously long range playing a role here. This is going to be quite nice in that Dragon Strike 2, let's not forget, Hanzo's ultimate really just does a good job of separating people. I mean, if you're a Reinhardt stuck in the middle, you're going to get shredded.
Well, I mean, CPU was pointing out earlier that some of the time on this first point, you'll have the Hanzo just try for sort of a random arrow, maybe to pick up one of the supports, and then that will be the go sign, right? So I'd be interested to see if that's going to be the case or not here. FaZe putting a couple of shots and then falling back around the corner. They just want to toy with them a little bit here. But I'd be interested to see Tavik in the back line here. We are talking about sort of magic arrows from the back line.
Yeah, Tavik's just hoping to find one, right? One really good shot that can give them the upper hand here. And he does take a substantial amount of damage. I believe that was going to be Zoms. And now that Zoms is in a really bad spot here, he could end up falling, but he is going to be getting some support. And they do manage to just isolate their tank. And now it's going to be Rogue just having to disengage here because Fact Fiction pushed up. But despite that, it was going to be just great presence here from FaZe. Make that stop happen.
I mean, it looked to me like Tavik was doing some damage there, but
Yeah.
it wasn't enough. They had already lost too many players at that point in time. And Soms, right before he was about to go down, did get a kill in as well. So pretty good job on his front. Now, Rogue going to try and re-engage. They have plenty of time to take many of these fights here. They don't even have the ultimates really built for it yet, so they are just going to try one more time and see if they can do it manually. That wall going to be gone, and you see Unko here doing the best that he can to heal everyone on the front line and really doing quite a good job, in fact. And there's the Nano Bush going to be coming down on AKM in the back line. Transcendence out to counter it. Great play right now coming out from the FaZe side, trying to see if they can hold them back. They're getting the kills, and AKM has to just fall back here. Some teammates trying to still fight it out, but not really going to happen, it seems.
Well, you know, he is very much committing to this one, and that race mode will stay up and just popped up. So because of that, AKM can continue to put some presence. He's really just trying to keep himself very much in this fight. He does have that Death Blossom, and now going to be looking to work here with Wins, his brother. Can they do it? He's waiting around. There you go. That sound barrier is actually going to fall down, and keeping the Zarya out of this fight was huge because of that Graviton surge, and just AKM with an excellent play there. That Death Blossom flying through right after the Earth Shatter. Doesn't find the kills that he wants, but he is going to absolutely separate the point, and this is looking very good here for Rogue.
It absolutely is, and Nox still has the sound barrier. If Soms was to come through right now with an ultimate, it wouldn't really do that much, so I'm not really recommending that. You see Too Easy here trying to buy some more time on the Mei. All of like 2 seconds, Alex. I'm not sure that was necessarily enough, but he had to die anyway, otherwise he'd be sort of separate from his team, so might as well just go for it. Win's going to be pushing forward here, and he has a Zarya ultimate of his own. Right now, they need Soms to wait for Shadow Burn so they can really make this work. They need that Death Blossom and Zarya ultimate combo.
Let's see what they do here. As now we're going to start the Streets phase, and look at AKM. He is just waiting for that time to strike. As soon as he gets the call, he will fall down. But you know, I have to say, like Rogue, one thing I really like about this team is they show themselves a lot of discipline. There you go. Actually, it's going to be, oh my goodness, Tavik just absolutely unleashed the dragon there, finds another one on the floor, and that was just so well done. A downward facing dragon strike with the follow up with the bow and arrow. Tavik's a savage.
Get behind.
They literally let Soms waste his ultimate, then they Earth Shatter the whole team on top of that Dragon Strike. What a beautiful bait coming out of Rogue. You've got to feel like you've just been outplayed at that point in time if you're FaZe, and Rogue are setting a very quick speed right now. FaZe was slowed down a lot more than this at this point in time here. Shadowburn coming out with an ultimate. He's only going to get the 1 kill, and then they lose Fact Fiction and Too Easy, and Shadowburn to go down. Final in the streak there, and yeah, they're going to have to give up this point. They got no shot. Ooh.
I tell you what, Tuvic's just been having just an incredible series, or incredible game. He now has the Dragon Strike yet again, so it's going to be very cool to see what he does with this, because as soon as that payload pushes through there, that is just a great clear mechanic to be able to just separate, you know, the enemy team, disrupt their lines, especially for a player like Fact Fiction. He has to be very cautious about that, because you know that it's going to be coming.
Look at the incredible benefit of the Sonic Arrow there. Tuvik knew that the McCree was going to be coming out on Too Easy. He knew he was going to roll in like that. Very good play. Did he get another one off? They are going a little bit on the offensive here. FaZe, they've got to be careful. There's the Dragon Strike coming up right on top of them. It doesn't really do too much just yet. And the Reinhardt at the back line with the Fact Fiction just going to be swinging with the hammer and doing significant damage, taking out AKM. They are still fighting. FaZe going to have to fall back a little bit here.
Yeah, Wins, I think, you know, he's obviously looking to, one, get up in there and be able to build up some more charge for his primary weapon. And just look at this, they're going to shatter that Reinhardt shield, so that is not going to be a good look there for Fact Fiction, which means they're not going to have any kind of presence there to hold it down, and he has to stay back and just charge that one up. So he does manage to get so, but it's going to be a significantly weaker shield. I have to say, that was a really smart play there for Wins. Now we'll be having the Graviton Surge, throwing that one down, and keeping a couple of these members in the air. But there goes AKM just flying into it, and he's able to find himself 3.
That's so big right now, and they are almost out of ult, but Tuvik and Nox actually both get theirs in that last tick. I'm not even sure it's going to matter here. Too Easy can't get there in time, but even if he had, they had 2 minutes and 30 seconds at the end, and it's going to be just a minute for FaZe. So honestly, I was impressed by FaZe making it to the end the way that they did. They showed so much promise. But right now, Rogue are looking like the better team on Hollywood, at least.
I mean, you know, both sides, though, I think it's so hard to say, right? Because I really did not expect FaZe to come out the way that they did. You know, I know that there's a lot of love for Shadowburn and his Genji. Didn't really expect it to make that big of an impact, considering the confidence that Rogue had. But this has been a pleasant surprise, and I'm really happy about this because, you know, I want FaZe to fight back. I want a great series. I mean, this is a best of 5. This is your opportunity to face off against Rogue, and then you get that shot at your fair share, the largest share of $300,000 live on TBS. So clearly, this is just a big match situation here, and FaZe, to me, they're still contending.
They are showing a lot of promise here. The big problem is they can't go for a long fight here. They need this to work out. They've got Fact Fiction, and they've also got Shadowburn. So we've seen this before. The dive combination between Winston and Genji can be very powerful, but it sort of either works really well or it doesn't work at all. It works when you start getting kills because it resets the dash on Shadowburn, and then you can just keep doing it forever and ever. But if you don't get that first kill in, it gets real tricky. We'll see how it's going to work out. Tuvik he's got a great character here to try and deal with it. That ice wall can really shut down and separate those two players.
Yeah,
it could get tricky.
Rogue knows that FaZe is up to something, and also look for Forsaken. He's using that Zenyatta, but that's purely for the Discord. And here you go, actually, the Harmony Orb going in there, so trying to keep Fact Fiction alive in this battle and forcing them to go right back. And as soon as he fell down, he would have done some damage and separated, but it won't happen because Wins is going to find him. But there goes Shadowburn and Too Easy, the dynamic duo working together, getting the kills where they need to. If they're able to get this point here, that would be huge, but this is not going to be an easy win here for Rogue to get. There goes Too Easy, finding 2. AKM and Nox are going to fall. Wins is going to be dropped as well. And this is going to be a capture here for FaZe. And now it's time for them to make some progress. That was an excellent dive.
Stunning play from FaZe. That's so well read. And honestly, Rogue are making themselves slightly predictable because the way they held that spot, they've done it before on Hollywood multiple times already. So I think teams are starting to catch on to the idea that Reinforce is there with the shield in the front line, and they're just in that little narrow space. Also great deflect obviously coming out from Shadowburn. Now he's got the Dragon Blade out, slicing and dicing and doing the damage. He's going to take out Reinforce first, going for a second. It's Anagon next, and they are just getting shut down on Street phase, and they're in overtime phase. Everything matters right now. These need to go as far as they possibly can. And Shadowburn, we did say he had to have an incredible game, and right here on the second go-around, he is turning up.
Yeah, you do what works, and for Shadowburn, what works is playing Genji. He is proving to be one of the best Genjis in Europe, if not the best. He can make a case for that, but this is a lot of progress here that FaZe is making. If they're able to get a 5th point, that'll be huge, and there goes the Graviton Surge as well, but a Blizzard's going to fall too, and now Forsaken is going to try and see if he can protect his teammates with this Transcendence, which will just do some healing over time. AKM, though, will have a sound barrier that looked like that was protecting him, but there goes the bunch up there. Group hug for Rogue, but Rogue won't fall as FaZe don't get much out of that one, but now they're looking to just separate the lines here. Reinforce is going to be an interesting predicament because he's going to have half health remaining against Focus down by 2 easy, and could they continue to progress this one forward? That is not going to happen because AKM with the stop, and that was wonderfully done from Rogue.
Finally, they put an end to it, and you saw how difficult that was. First, you had the Winston. He already has a lot of HP, and he has the shield, obviously. Then they drop the sound barrier right as the ult is going off. After the sound barrier, you have the Transcendence, and then Winston uses his ultimate. So they just spent like an hour trying to kill Winston on that point. They finally managed it, and that's obviously good news. But it was a really good separation of abilities, right? It means they didn't just sort of pop everything all at once. They really sort of drew it out as far as they could, making sure that they could keep the health up. But it just wasn't enough at the end. Still, pretty good job from FaZe. I was expecting him to get locked down on the first point. I didn't think they'd make it through that.
Yeah, them getting a 4th point and making progress here on distance, that's fantastic, to be honest with you. I think that, you know, for FaZe, I mean, I don't really think that they were, or that people at home actually were expecting that. You know, you were kind of in the majority there, in my opinion, because Rogue, just such a phenomenal team, and they were holding him off quite nicely in their first attack phase. So that Shadowburn definitely proved to be very useful, Shadowburn Genji.
Yeah. Alex, if they can hold this first stage here, then FaZe are going to be able to win the first map. It's a best of 5, so too soon to celebrate for them, but still that would be a big victory. And obviously if they can stop them in the street phase before we get to that 99.09 meters mark, then that's all they need. FaZe, they have picked up a May of their own, and that's pretty much it. So we'll see if that's going to be enough here to keep Rogue back. They are
no
on
Ana,
Tariq again.
No Ana. That one catches my attention. And you got to watch out for Tariq. He's having the game of his life on Hanzo, in my personal opinion. But I like the separation that they did for wins. They weren't able, actually, they did shred some shield for him, but just not enough. They did keep Tariq out of the fight, but not enough to like really capitalize on it. And there goes the nano boosted Reinhardt. Reinforce is just going to push in there. And that was going to be from Unco, and you know, just swinging away pretty much. Good work there. And I have to say, Reinforce, you know, just doing everything he can to get these kills, but not able to stay alive. And that will be a clear here for FaZe. Tariq will not stay alive, and that will do it. FaZe looking to set up for this next attack.
Yes, but so they at least, FaZe has, Rogue have the luxury of being able to sort of lose a team fight like this and go back in again. Now we're talking Blizzard versus the Earthshatter and Dragon Strike combination. This will not be easy. They're going to go for a little bit of a charge there, and that's not a good Reinhardt charge. You're going to have to fall back. The Blizzard is out on top right now. No one's used their ultimates yet for Rogue. There's the Earthshatter going down for Reinforce. Tariq, is he there to follow it up with a Dragon Strike? It hasn't happened yet. They're still waiting for it. And now they're running out of time. They've got just a little bit over a minute left. Unco is well ready with the nano boost. They got a strike right now. Otherwise, it's going to be too close to the mark, I fear.
I really like what Too Easy has been doing with these shields. You know, like the way, or these May walls, the way that he's been positioning them, really keeping out the Zarya from action, and it has to be frustrating for wins as well. But let's see what we have here, as this is going to be yet another clear for FaZe. They only have 40 seconds to work with here, Anders. This is getting to be pretty scary for Rogue.
I'm shocked they couldn't get the Earthshatter and Dragon Strike combo in, but now they have AKM and Tariq. They can still do a Reinforce. He's very good at heading these fire strikes, so he's almost there to get the ulti again. It's quite impressive. He's very good Reinforce. He's building that ultimate all the time. I'm actually quite stunned by that. Gonna be through the shield. AKM charging in. doing the damage. We're down to 15 seconds. It's now or never for Rogue, and Unko going to be going down. Dragon Strike out, coming in. Tavik doing good damage, but not getting the kills right now. It's finally one at the end here, but they're losing a lot of players. Can FaZe come in here and defend? It looks like they will.
And that will do it. Wow, Rogue could not push. FaZe are going to take game 1. And you know what? I did not expect that. I was not expecting that.
That is so odd. They had that combination going for such a long time. And FaZe, I mean, it's true as well. The one target that was always in front was obviously going to be the Reinhardt with the shield. But right after that, they couldn't really find a good target for the Earthshatter. Like, it was hard to find any situation in which they had, you know, 3 or 4 heroes to Earthshatter. So it was a little bit tricky. So, I mean, good positional play for FaZe to try and stay out of that combination, but I'm also shocked. I thought Road would be one of the teams that could most definitely do it.
I felt like, again, you know, we are going to keep saying his name, but Shadowburn certainly did a good job for his squad. Also, Too Easy. I don't really want to give all the love to Shadowburn because Too Easy certainly picked up some pretty clutch kills, especially on this particular phase as well, when they were able to take out the Zarya and the Ana. Oh, look at that. Hey, we were able to fit one in. There you go.
Where did they find that picture? There are some people in the production crew that have way too much time on their hands, I've got to say. I hope they are not getting paid too much money for that. But I will say this, I am thankful. Thank you, production crew, for not putting me on the Roadhog. I feel like that would have been the more obvious choice. I'm just saying that.
You know, I would have went for that. But, you know, you have, listen, I think you have a wonderful figure.
I appreciate that.
So you embrace it, okay? You Sly McCree you.
If we ever do cosplay, I don't think it'll be the McCree. I've got to say.
Really?
No, I'm one for taking the easy route out. You know, so
of course.
So you know, just less work there, and I think that'd be better.
I think I would go for Diva 100%. You know, we were talking.
That feels
about,
close to home.
Yeah, you know, just something about you know, jumpsuit onesies really just strike my attention.
Right.
With like hearts and rabbits and bunnies and whatever she has on there. So yeah, I think that's what I have the body for it personally, so I know I could pull it off.
I'm not going to dispute that, Alex. I'm just going to take your word for it. We are obviously in a best-of-5 game, so it's way too soon to call. But this little break here between the two maps is probably going to favor, I think, Rogue. You know, the longer the break becomes, the more they get to sort of breathe and relax and think, all right, so that didn't go as we were planning. Now we're obviously still the better team. Let's just do this. FaZe, on the other hand, I mean, they're looking more dangerous than I think more people were expecting.
Yeah, FaZe, again, you know, you got the dynamic duo of Too Easy and Shadowburn, but again, I have to praise this Tavik play here because it was so well done. And then his Hanzo, this whole game was so impressive. I mean, look at the shot. Just easy. It's cookies all day. Well, you know, he bakes them. But
look, the reason why I think we can be quite sure that play was Tavik plus almost whole team is that no professional team of the caliber of Rogue would just all stand in one bunch like that. I think they literally baited some ultimate out because they looked so deliberate. They wouldn't just all be riding on top of the payload just for the hell of it. They saw that coming, and they had the strike to be ready, the Earthshatter to shut them down with. It was just stunning play.
I don't know if my eyes are deceiving me, but was that Dragon Strike red when he was blue?
Yeah, I think it was at one point.
I was looking at it. I was like, I know I'm not a very smart man, but I know that was that was a red Dragon Strike. In any case, so Storm Monster coding will have to wait when my main man FaZe Too Easy is so on damn point. Go my young Padawan.
He is not wrong.
Do your job, man. How about that? I'm kidding. So many people taking time off to watch Overwatch. So listen, guys, we get it. You love the game. It's a good game. I love it too. But you know, like sometimes you just gotta do your job.
Look, I don't want to inspire anyone to you know, do the wrong thing or anything. But all the best work I've ever done in any school I've been in has been pretty much the night before.
Actually, I just have a phenomenal story of when I made basically an entire experiment based on drawing a line on the board, and I was like, this is the divide of society. And like, I went into a long spiel about why this line on this drawing board was a big deal. ended up getting an A, thought of it 15 minutes before. So, you know, like, sometimes your best work comes when you really, really need to clutch up.
There you go. Don't take educational advice from Alex or I. See where we ended up having to entertain people.
I know, right?
Reduced to this. Could have been so
justice.
much more.
You know, I could have been.
Could have been a doctor or a lawyer, Alex. Think about it.
I think about myself as a doctor, and I think about all the people who would
Who were spared
basically
that?
be screwed if I was their doctor. I don't even know like how to pronounce a thing that's in Tylenol. You know what I mean? Acetaminophen or whatever. I hope I got it right. I probably didn't. In case you guys haven't noticed yet, I'm just not a very bright person, but you know, I am a dashingly attractive gentleman, and that is something that my mother tells me on a weekly basis. But enough about me, let's talk about this game, because we have FaZe versus Rogue. FaZe is up 1-0, Anders.
Yes, they are, and they are also going to be on the offensive here. Too easy, trying for a chance hook just to see if it worked. Maybe someone was up there, and we would have all laughed hysterically if it had worked out, but it didn't. Now they're going to try and get the high. Well, I mean, too easy 1 and 2, but here's a little bit heavy and ends up falling off that box.
As a fat man, I can tell you, climbing up on boxes and on top of ledges is not the easiest thing to do. But there you go, Too Easy actually diving in there. Zombs gets put to sleep right away. Too Easy is frozen right in his tracks, trying to stay alive as best they possibly can. Luckily for them, they're going to have some support there, Anders.
Some slept midair. That's so funny. But a nice execute there of Reinforce. He is going to be down, and Rogue already put on the back foot. FaZe just pushing right through, not even caring a little bit. And also, and this is much worse for Rogue, they're building up an incredible amount of ult right now. They're going to go for the fight. They kind of need to win it. Tavik already out. Som's going to be in charge of getting that kill. Very good job right now for FaZe. They're getting all the kills. They're building a massive ultimate bank. And Rogue, they're going to have a hard time with this Hangar phase. That's what I'm more worried about. It felt like this point was already lost, but now the Hangar phase, they're setting themselves up for a bit of a loss. They also don't have, they have some verticality. Maybe AKM could get on top. And I'd be impressed with that if he actually had an ultimate up. But the fact that he doesn't means FaZe. I don't know. They could set a very good time right now.
Shadowburn, you know, he's going to look to get on top of the shuttle, right? High ground is going to be very important here. So, and I like this as well, right? Taking the long way instead of just climbing up there, because you never know who's going to meet you right around the corner, especially as you climb up in very unconventional, you know, places. And there, by the way, I just want to point out as well, just use of the scatter arrow. I love that stuff, right? When you just time that lovely to be able to give your teammates that subtle opportunity, but Shadowburn won't be able to stay alive because AKM just says, enough of this madness. I need to take care of business as soon as possible and manage to take out a fair share of FaZe members. And that is going to be a stop for Rogue. And in this phase, it's a little harder for the defensive, or excuse me, for the offensive team to push up here. You have really 2 points of entry, you know, on the top and the bottom, and they're narrow. They are very narrow, so you just got to be very careful of how you do this. And it could allow AKM to make some sneaky plays if they're not too cognizant of it.
I think a real test of Rogue's strength there, the fact that they managed to win that fight, not having that many ultimates and not really using all of them either. Good shot stuff here. Shadowburn going to be going down. AKM picking up a nice kill. Wraith form all the way back to try and get out. Still finding his Soms. He's going to be taking down Reinforce, and they are going to continue here. FaZe Too Easy on the McCree, taking down not 1, not 2, but 3 kills as Wins is going to be dying last, and that's it. Hangar stage is done with. Rogue, it seemed to me they won the more difficult fight the first time around, and then the second time they just couldn't stand up to it.
Yeah, no, I kind of feel like a moron for saying that this phase was going to be hard here for Rogue, or excuse me, for FaZe. But there's Too Easy actually bumped up, and there's AKM flying in. He picks up 4, but finally Fact Fiction will be there for the connection and is able to drop him. And there goes FaZe. They say enough of that. We get it, AKM. You want to make some big plays. You want to get your play of the game. We get it. We understand that. But we got to get some points on the board.
Look at Soms lighting up. It's practically a Tesla cannon at this point in time, just ready and waiting for it. I'm surprised they could clean that up with what they have. Not only did they come out of the hangar stage here, once again, they have such a great ultimate setup here. They've got Soms nearly there, and Shadowburn, he can build that ult on Genji in seconds. So this could be interesting. Again, it's going to be Rogue going on the offensive here, just trying to fight it out. There's the Graviton Surge going to be coming up. Soms to that line, look at the charges up these bombs, doing so much damage. He's almost always at 100%, and they're going to keep going right here. FaZe running right through Rogue.
Uh-oh, you better be careful. And this Shadowburn, he wanted to go for those targets, but he realized he was exposing himself a little too much and didn't have a lot of time to work with. So, but wisely enough, though, just forcing him back, you know, that's always going to be a plus. And he's just going to continue to flood out that doorway, working with Zoms, who will continue to build upon the ult charge. There goes the sound barrier. Too Easy's going to come out. He'll find himself one, but will do some damage to another. Drops down in a clutch bubble there, was going to protect Wins only for the time being, because Wins will not be able to stay alive, and that is going to be an Ana trapped inside of that hallway. You're not getting out of there, sister. Reinforced charges, but it won't matter because FaZe picks up 3 with 3 minutes and 24 seconds left on the clock.
If you had to sort of write a handbook of how to play Gibraltar here, then this game would have to be in it for FaZe, at least on the offensive side. Just each point they won, they set themselves up just enough so that they had the ultimates they needed to win the next point and the next one. And Rogue never seemed to be of the mindset that sort of said, let's play defensive for a moment. They always wanted to go and fight them early on, and because they had the ults left over from the last point, they were ready to win those fights and just kind of keep going. I'm very impressed by FaZe.
You know, I'm actually shocked that Hangar phase was as quick as it was. We've seen teams get hung up on the Hangar phase before, don't even make it out to that final part. So if you're Rogue now and you see their faces, they're thinking, they're like, okay, so what is going on here?
But just to sort of expand on that a little bit, I think if you lose the first point on Gibraltar, but you do it in a way so that once you get to, like, once the other team pushes into the hangar, you already got the Reaver with the ultimate on top. You already got everything you need. You maybe got the Sari ult ready, so that when they try and push under the spacecraft itself, you can drop down with all the damage. They didn't have any of that, Rogue. They had to fall back and play just a sort of some weird angles and some weird positional play.
Yeah, it's very true, because thinking about AKM, right, when he was on the flank, he was able to pick off, who was it? I believe it was one of the guys on FaZe had a Hanzo out, but yeah, but he dropped around him and was able, he got a couple shots off, but he got the Dragon Strike, and that wasn't it. He just didn't have an ult to work with. Yeah. You know, and that was the main issue. Going into, you hit the nail right on the head, Anders. They just didn't have anything to work with there. But in any case, though, folks, it's going to be all pressure on Rogue. Can they do it? Can they get themselves 3 points with plenty of time left to spare? Because if you see that right there, 3 minutes and 24 seconds. If this goes to another round here, if this goes to a round 3, I mean, FaZe, they are sitting pretty. They're going to have a lot of time to work with.
They definitely will. Very, very quick pace set for them in the first half here, especially considering the opposition that they're facing at the moment. Tavik trying to be a little bit cheeky here with the Tracer running around in the back line and trying to see if he can pick up any supports, as they are pushing that payload quite far up now. Sooner rather than later, FaZe are going to have to pick up a time to fight this, and maybe it's going to be now. Already Reinhardt going to be pushing in there. Shadowburn nearly with the ultimate ready.
Pushing out that Tracer as well, realizing that this is actually a pretty intense battle. And Tavik just know, like, this is not a battle I can win. You know, I just got to back away and just focus on the targets that I can pick off. But now Tavik all alone, despite the fact that ACAM and Reinforce are picking off a lot of kills, they're going to continue to push this one forward. And, you know, what looked like a dire situation there, just gave him the bro fist. What looked like a dire situation now turned in Rogue's favor, and they have a lot of time to work with. Can they do the same thing that FaZe did and progress through this hangar?
Well, I mean, look at FaZe. They at least have some ultimates ready for this second stage here, so that's a little bit more interesting. They don't have any Zarya actually at all on the team, so that's interesting just to note. But they will have the nano boost. They will have Shadowburn up and running. So I think FaZe are more in position to set up a good defense, but Rogue are setting a similarly unreal time here when they're on the offense. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, while on one end we have the 2 tank, 2 support, 2 DPS combination, you have 3 DPS, 2 support, 1 tank, and that's all up to Fact Fiction to be able to hold things down. AKM, though, gets hit with that Bionade, which means no rejuvenation, but I don't know if that's going to matter all that much, because he's working with Tavik as well as his Reinhardt Reinforced, and they clear that one out, and this is going to be a stop here for Rogue. They continue to progress this payload forward. FaZe, I mean, I don't know. I think you kind of need another tank here. I mean, yeah, there you go. And Zoms is going to switch back to the trusty Zarya. He needs Zarya, in my opinion.
I absolutely agree. Some of these ultimates, maybe especially for 2EZ, that you can't really easily set them up against a team as good as Rogue without it. There we see the Graviton Surge coming out, Fact Fiction picking up 2 and looking for more Shadowburn, trying to help out. But Rogue are trying to re-engage right now. Winston trying to stay alive inside the bubble there. That's reinforced, jumping all over the place. It's not quite going to happen, so right at the end, FaZe will manage to hold it down. Ultimates though here. We have AKM and Unco. We have seen this combination work already multiple times.
I mean, I respect the hustle of what FaZe was trying to do, right? You know, maybe if you burst him down and just absolutely shred him, you can get right back into this. But let's not forget that Zarya, fully charged, it's like a mini DPS character. What she could do is insane.
I'm not a big fan of the position that FaZe were in. They were so close to the aircraft here that the Nano Boost Reaver ultimate would get so close. He's going to be running in anyway. Doesn't even jump on the high ground. Going to pick up the 1 kill. Going for another one. It's a double and now triple. What a great flick. Taking out Forsaken and 2EZ going to fall as well. AKM just cleaning up right now. Fact Fiction trying to see he can stay alive, but not this time.
Making significant progress in the hangar phase, folks. Could Rogue do it? Could they finish this one with plenty of time left on the clock so that they can make it happen in overtime in extra rounds here? Reinforced, look at that, just looking to get right in their face and cause as many problems as possible. And also, I just want to say, just a very well done Bionade from their Ana, from Unco, to keep Reinforced healed up nicely. And they're unopposed on this payload for the time being. Expect a rush to come out here from FaZe because they are going to have Shadowburn with the Dragon Blade and Zombs with that Graviton. But still, though, look how much progress they're at here, Anders.
Yeah, there is sound barrier up. Nox just putting it down now, trying to save his teammates from all the carnage on the other side. AKM picking up a good kill there. He's got a little bit more still with the shotguns here, but it looks like FaZe are able to overtake the situation here. I've got to say, I love the fact that Reinforced was trying so hard to knock them off the edge there with the Primal Rage, but it didn't quite work out that way, and now FaZe in a little bit more control, and you can see FaZe's time there on 3 minutes and 24 seconds, so actually Rogue are a little bit slower just yet, but we'll see. I'd be surprised if FaZe could hold this for 3 minutes.
I would be as well, you know, given how Rogue have been playing here, but then again, we've been talking about, you know, FaZe shocking us, so if they were to hold him, you know what? Part of me believes it's just not a surprise. Look at Shadowburn there, just ran right in. He's gonna get the dash reset as well, but has to play this one smart because he did get hit with the Bionade. And just look at the way Shadowburn's able to stay alive here. They just can't hit him, and that has to be so frustrating for Wins, who is a great Zarya, but really, it just doesn't matter when you have someone who's moving around like a spider monkey. It's insane.
It really is hard to deal with. It's hard to say who's coming out ahead right now, because right now FaZe kind of needs some of those big ults like on Fact Fiction or Soms, and they're still away from having them, so they could lose just the control ults. But
oh my
the
god,
Dragon Blade coming out. He's gonna slice and dice.
Oh my god,
Fact Fiction helping out.
Did you see that? I'm not crazy. Wins deflected the Graviton Surge.
I think he did.
Oh
wow.
my god, that was sick. That was so well timed. Or Shadowburn deflected. Oh,
you know what, Alex?
I can't even right now. I'm done, boys.
That's the answer to not having one yourself. Just deflect the enemy one, and you may be good to go.
And I looked, I was like, does Zombs toss this out? No, he has plenty. He has plenty of ult charge to go, but Shadowburn does that, and that is yet another stop. And if you're Rogue, you have to be so frustrated with that play because that you basically had them, and yet the Shadowburn guy just will not stop. He is all over them. So impressive. Did
Wins tilt pick his way out of playing Zarya because of it and right into Winston?
Ah, screw this. I'm going with Winston.
I'm just not going to deal with this anymore. Like, that's it. Wow. We're probably going to get the production units, players, all of that after the game, but obviously not in the middle of this fight because it is ongoing. We said 3 minutes, that would be a long time. They've done 2, and there's 1 left, Alex, and they have a lot of ults right now on Rogue.
Here we go, AKM looking to get some kills, but there goes the Transcendence, keeping everyone alive as best he possibly can there. Raucous doing what is necessary, but this is an equal trade. They're both going to lose 4. Zom's able to find 2, and FaZe is holding on to this one, Anders. I didn't expect them to do so. AKM is going to be in a world of hurt as well. There's Shadowburn all over him, and Shadowburn is going to get the pick on AKM. Reinhardt v. Reinhardt action. It is hammer time, but there will be a Discord, and a well-timed Earthshatter will come down here from Reinforce, but he won't be able to stay alive. Shadowburn with the Dragon Blade pushes forward, and this could very well be the hold that FaZe was looking for. No ults on each side. If anything, you got to tip your hat to Zoms, who could develop the Graviton Surge in time.
I'm sending some panic in Reinforce there, just a little bit here, and I can't blame him. They are down to 9 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. FaZe, they took the first map. They're not that far taking the second one either. Too easy, gonna be pushing forward here. Are they out of time? Rogue, can they really make it to the end? It doesn't seem like it. Too easy, getting some great McCree kills in. There's no one there to touch the card. Oh my God, FaZe gonna be making it 2-0 here in the best of 5, defeating Rogue on Gibraltar.
I think I need your catchphrase right now, man.
Are you kidding me? That's that's quite intense. Nobody, absolutely nobody was expecting this. Nobody predicted that FaZe would be anywhere near this, and certainly not Rogue. I think Rogue least of all were anticipating this kind of situation. They were very confident going in. Now they've got to be shell-shocked.
What is going on? We're living in a world where it's just Rogue, the Atlantic Showdown champions. The team that defeated an EnvyUs squad that just looked to be near unstoppable.
Yeah,
now on the verge of defeat. Destined to win that event. Now Rogue is on the verge of elimination.
Look at that. They're all looking to the center to try and figure out just what is going on. And Shadowburn, I feel like this is justified.
Can I change my vote? I just want to say, you know, guys, please FaZe up, right? Guys, I'm from Call of Duty, FaZe from Call of Duty. Let's, can we be friends, you know?
I mean,
oh my goodness.
the FaZe guys, the guys from FaZe Clan who actually run the whole show, they're obviously super engaged, and I know they do keep an eye on like all of the different branches of the whole thing. So they've got to be very excited. I don't think they could have been expecting. They're probably hoping for it. As an owner, you got to be hoping for it, but I don't think they could have realistically been expecting this level out of the FaZe squad. So that is very impressive. Super cool to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Tommy and Banks for a very long time, obviously with my background and their background. And, you know, I know how passionate they are about their team, so it's awesome. But, you know, though, man, this guy right here, he's gonna have to step up. AKM, he's a phenomenal Reaper player. He knows what it takes to win. They are struggling in this series, but AKM has certainly been a standout in this matchup, and it's due in part because of the hero that he plays. That hero's Reaper.
Yeah, he's been incredibly good. We've seen it all throughout, but when they were on the offensive here, he had a little bit of a trouble trying to get in. His sort of base skills allow for quite a lot of damage already. People often refer to him as a tank buster because he can burn through all of that HP right? And the armor.
Is that like 3D?
It is, yeah. Unless you're also seeing it right in front of you in the studio here.
I know. I actually looked up.
And if you are, then you may need medical assistance. Then that's a hallucination. But
wow. Okay, I'm just gonna say right now. All right, just gonna throw it out there. E-League production, best in the business. First time I ever casted a video game, and I saw that. So first time for everything.
We TV now, yeah. They
TV now, boys.
No, it is good fun, and I know I can hear them smiling.
Oh yeah, they're grinning from ear to ear. They're just like, yeah, he knows.
Look, I mean, I think it is well worth talking about AKM. We could probably do it for a very long time. But he did not get the same opportunities. You know, when they were in that hangar stage, they had the Nano Boost and the Death Blossom ready. He was up on the spacecraft, and that's when I thought we'd see the classic sort of AKM moment where he jumps down, gets 3-4 kills, and that's it. They push right through, and that's it. That didn't work out. When he finally jumped down, first of all, he didn't jump down from sort of the high ground and sort of come charging in. He sort of just sort of fell down on the bridge, then fell down, then sort of, you know, he was nano boosted, and so it was quick, but it wasn't that mega surprise factor that we were talking about. And part of it was because, if I remember correctly, in that particular scenario, FaZe were actually set up so that they had sort of 2 people on the left side, 2 people on the right-hand side, and then more people behind. So there was no big grouping of the FaZe players that he could have easily hit. It was tricky. And yeah, overall, I just think it's this is fun to watch. This is something that was hard to predict, I think.
Yeah, I think for all of us, we looked at the bracket and we were just like, you know, kind of just makes sense. I mean, no disrespect to Misfits, by the way, because, of course, they also played an incredible series. But I think a lot of people kind of just like felt like, you know, this was Rogue's, you know, tournament to win. But, you know, Spencer Stevens, you're so right. FaZe turns everything upside down. Yes, indeed. They certainly do. Guys, let us know what you're thinking of this matchup as well. Make sure you tweet hashtag OW Open, and your tweet could end up on stream just like Spencer Stevens' tweet did. So want to hear what you guys think, who you're rooting for. Is it going to be FaZe or will it be Rogue? Can Rogue rally the comeback, Anders? That's the question.
I mean, one of these days, instead of a Twitter box like that, there'll be like a direct feed into Twitch TV chat, and then all the sponsors will just.
I just want to see Pog Champs. Or no, never mind. Don't do Pog Champs. What faces? That's what I want. Yes, yes. Grow my numbers, my children. Anyway, though, folks, we got FaZe. Rogue, if you're just joining us here, FaZe is pulling off what could be considered the upset of the competition if they win this one 3-0 against Rogue.
All right, and just think about how ridiculous this is. So on the map where Rogue are supposed to make the epic comeback, we're on Hanamura, the least played map so far in this tournament, at least here in person. That's very, very interesting. It's hard to say who this is going to favor. I doubt either of these teams have a hell of a lot of experience playing it. So I'd be interested to see what's going to happen here. Everyone's been shying away from Hanamura.
Everyone's been shying away from Assault in general, right? I think for Assault, anything can happen. A lot of time left on the clock as well with the time bank system. So it's just kind of something that people would prefer not to play. But I think for Rogue, who were the losing team in that scenario, they looked at it and said, you know what, we need a curveball, and the curveball will be Hanamura, so they went right for it. Instead of going after like Eichenwald, which FaZe is actually a pretty solid team in, or Route 66, I think that was a smart call here. But of course, that is yet to be determined as Rogue continue to push up, and Tavik says, you know what, Shadowburn, you're a pretty good Genji, I respect that, but it's my turn to shine.
Yeah, right now, if FaZe lose any more players, this is going to get really rough. The reinforcement time to get to this first point is so incredibly long. We see the nano boost already coming in, and AKM cleaning up, and that should be the point. I don't see how FaZe could possibly contest this any further. You see Raucus coming in and practically exploding in the face of Nox, and Rogue capping the point in awesome speed. Now I'm curious. We have too easy on McCree. We've seen on this point, the final point here, how damaging the McCree can be at the back lines. He's hard to get to, so if he's hitting his shot too easy, he could be a real troublemaker.
Look for Tavik. He has Dragon Blade, so what he's going to do is pretty much dive into the back lines, bust out that Dragon Blade, and just get right in their face, and maybe even put themselves, you know, in a very quick win. That could be a very potential situation. AKM also does have the Death Blossom as well. Tavik has used the Dragon Blade. He does pick up one. He picks up a second as well, and AKM is just moving in, and this is basically your DPS players doing exactly what they need to do here, and AKM also has a Death Blossom, stopping Raucus before he could drop the beat. No whoop for you, they say, and they're going to try and stop him, but I think Forsaken coming in here with the stall out with that Transcendence was very smart, but they got to be so careful because AKM is going to spin around with the Beyblade, and they do manage to find one kill out of, no, they managed to get 2 out of that exchange. Here goes the Graviton Surge, and this could very well be a clear.
I have no idea what I'm witnessing. What are they doing, Rogue? They're just charging right for the map. There's going to be almost a record time. No opposition being put up. They're trying to stay alive. The Divas coming out, a sign of desperation, and Forsaken going to be out of it. Maze on the point as well, just to try and stay alive and buy a little bit more time. But we're talking about 5 minutes here. They would have to basically stagger onto this point here. They are not going down. Rogue, the supports, playing so well. Oh my god, their last cap here coming through. There's just no time left. The Diva's on there, but look how quick she's out of the suit, already out, and Rogue setting an unreal time here on Hanamura.
Rogue was like, that's why we picked Hanamura there, GB. basically. And what's really good here is, obviously you have, some of the family members in the crowd, like just rooting on for their family. And also I heard Rogue actually, get a little loud over there a little while too when they caught that first point.
That's what I want. They are fighting suddenly from a very intense position. They've got to get fired up. They got to start believing in it a little bit. And with that kind of a time, that's so impressive. We've seen that last point held for several minutes in a row. But they just went hard at it, Rogue. They didn't even wait to think about what's going on. They just dove in there and won all of the first fights. So that's going to be it now. Second half coming up, and FaZe are going to be attacking, and we'll see what Rogue can do on the defensive side. They've got Tavik with that ice wall, and I love it.
I honestly, I think this one, if I had to guess right now, just look how much time Rogue has. You can really stack up on that, right, on the assault-focused map. So we're definitely going to go to the next round if they pick up 2, right, because there's so much time left in the bank for Rogue. So this one's going to be, in my opinion, a slobber knocker, because if FaZe open this one up quickly and get that first point, I mean, you can expect, and this actually favors FaZe, in my personal opinion, just because of how aggressive FaZe likes to play. So I could see them taking first point really quick, especially with Shadowburn's Genji.
I think so much comes down to who gets the first kill. If you just trade evenly, this is a point that CP was making earlier, if you just trade evenly on this first point, because of the reinforcement time on the defensive side, it's really hard to keep winning the fight. So yeah. I think they need some decisive wins here. I'm a little bit surprised that Tavik is this far back. I thought he'd be up there with wins to try and zone them out when they came in.
He's waiting for the flank, right? So they're going to delay it. They're going to probably throw up the ice wall as soon as they get near the door, right? And maybe even split 1 or 2 guys up. But my imagination is running wild here with what they could possibly do. And if I had to guess, they're going to try and split them up and allow Shadowburn, or maybe even Too Easy to push up on their own. I don't know, but that's not going to happen when you have a Winston who can pretty much just dive right in there. And that's going to be just all up in their business. Tavik's not going to be in the best of positions. But despite that, though, they are going to be able to come out on top with 3 kills here. That's make that 4. Reinforced is going to go down as well. And FaZe, I mean, this is happening right here. They are putting the pressure on them.
I mean, you did warn us, Alex, you did say FaZe, probably pretty good at playing aggressively, and they were. So immediately winning that fight and setting a really good one here on the first point. Now, I'm less worried about that than I am the second one here. AKM on the McCree. They have, there's the ult on Tavik. And Nox is not far away from having his, so we could be seeing quite a lot of defense out of Rogue. I don't know. I think FaZe have got to think this through.
I think Raucus gives Fact Fiction the nano boost, and there is no, never mind. It's going to be Shadowburn who ends up getting the nano boost, and on the other side here, this is looking really good for FaZe. Rogue, though, in a bit of a pickle now. Dragon Blade's going to be out, so that is going to be damage done just by regular attacks, and now you're going to have that Dragon Blade, but they get frozen, so a Great Blizzard from Tavik is going to really zone him out for the time being, and this is looking to be a positive spin here for Rogue, as they're going to force FaZe out of the point.
Yes, they will. They have the D.Va up as well. That defensive matrix definitely very critical when you're trying to defend like this, and they will be able to reset. I think the idea of getting the nano boost to Shadowburn was that he'd hit a bunch of shurikens and then build up his ultimate immediately. And you actually see him missing a ton of top. That meant that Dragon Blade came out very late, and suddenly everything was out of sync. And the Blizzard ultimate also obviously massive. It
was more the Blizzard ultimate in my opinion than anything else. Shadowburn got that out, and remember, right, you're talking about Dragon Blade, that thing does a lot of damage. So because of that, I wouldn't compare it necessarily to like the Death Blossom, strategy. But oh, wait a minute, look at that. And actually, what a play. I just want to commend that Maywall from Tavik, because you know that the big bang was coming through, going for a ride, sister. And Reinforce is going to pick off Too Easy. And that is going to be another clear here for FaZe. But wow.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful read from Tavik. Really just a mechanical play from May. You got to love it.
We've seen it used on Hollywood, where they use it to block off an incoming Roadhog hook so that the target doesn't get pulled back, and now we suddenly see it used to block off the ult from Zarya.
Look how sick this is.
Yeah.
They're going to have no idea that he's up here. again, McCree has no movement options besides a roll, and you can't climb up a wall like you can Hanzo or Genji. So look at this, they're gonna have no idea.
More than that, look at the ults on Rogue. They have all 6 ults. They just used one of them here, and AKM gonna pick up a kill. But even without that, there's such a good position. Flashbang in. It is the nano boosted. Cowboy finally going to be coming through, and Reinforce picking up 2 kills as well. They use 4 out of 6 ultimates though, so a little bit of restraint on Rogue, but actually if you look at it from FaZe point of view, as they are sort of running down the clock, but there's still plenty of time left here, they come out at actually more than even ultimates, because 2Easy is about to have his as well. That, I mean, it didn't look like a good fight, but from FaZe point of view, it kind of still works out.
That was a missed opportunity there, but I just want to say they were hoping that this was going to be the push that FaZe would make, right? The push straight up top, because that would have given them that opportunity. Now they don't have that presence up top, so they have to stall it out as much as they can, and that is actually what Tvik does there. But now it's going to be time for your boy, the one and only Shadow. Never mind, he gets absolutely stopped in his tracks. Shadowburn pushing in, and he won't get frozen just yet because he goes into Wraith mode. There goes the sound barrier. Fact Fiction just swinging away. He's going to find the targets necessary. Nox trying to stay up, and Anders, this is looking very good here for FaZe if they're able to come out on top. And I love that Fact Fiction is all over the Winston.
Now let's see how long they can buy time. They're certainly trying to get the cap on the way, but it keeps being Rogue players on it, and they are picking up. They've already got the Mei. Are they going to swap to more beefy characters? That's the question. Winston also out here, reinforced down on the ground while he's nano boosted, swinging the hammer for the moment. 2Easy. Fact Fiction coming to help out FaZe. They need this point. They've invested so much into it, and they're losing players left and right. Onko in the back line just trying to see if he can actually heal and sleep people. Som's going to be going down, and AKM all over the place with this Tracer.
I just have to say, Unko was the MVP in that battle, dropping down that Bionade, which basically stopped all healing for anyone on FaZe, and because of that, they were able to get that clear. You had Fact Fiction, who pretty much was having his way with every single member of Rogue, but that was a wonderfully timed play, and of course, their Tracer moving in and getting the job done when necessary. So, I'm just so impressed with both sides of the table here.
FaZe are going to have a lot of ultimates in a second, but the big thing is Rogue are going to have 2 incredibly defensive ones, the Blizzard and the Sound Barrier from Nox. So it's not impossible that they could hold on just a little bit more, but they lose AKM early on. That's an incredible kill from Rockers. That might actually make a really big difference. AKM reinforced next in line. Shadowburn out with the ultimate, but the Blizzard on top, that's the defense we were talking about, and now wins. He does still have the Primal Rage, going to be knocking people off the point, gets charged, but still has life left in him, and look at that.
They lost Fact Fiction in the battle for right now, right? He ends up going downstairs, so that is heavy tank presence that they just did not have. And Tvik, with that wonderful Blizzard, really stopped what could have been a bad situation, because Shadowburn was primed and ready to just go all up crazy in their business. But that is going to be another stop for Rogue and FaZe. They have 1 minute and 31 seconds left to work with. If they don't capture this, it doesn't matter what Rogue has left in the bank. They will take this victory.
Very curious. FaZe had a lot of these ultimates the last fight around, and I don't think they ended up using them. That's a great sleep on Tvik, and here comes the train for FaZe. Gonna be all up on the high ground. It's a huge ult coming out of Reinforced, trying to see if he can continue on in, maybe making it work. They are taking a lot of damage up top. Som's trying to hide in the back line here. He's almost down, but he gets healed and shielded, and FaZe trying to see if they can make it in. Rogue, can they defend a little while longer? Down to 55 seconds.
You see, that was a battle that took place on the high ground, right? So they know there's not really much that they could do. They can get on the point, they can capture it as much as they could, but they're gonna lose all that progress as it goes back to that tick there. You see it on your screen, folks, right where it says B at the top of the screen. Every single time, you pass by one tick, those little triangles, that basically just means that you got like a checkpoint on the score. So they were not able to get that second checkpoint there, and because of that, they had to back up. And now it's going to be Shadowburn's time to shine here as he moves in, tries to just go absolutely insane, but won't find it. Luckily for him, that was going to be a wonderful, wonderful nano boost, but it just didn't really follow up with much. And now Tvik again, Anders, just being such a pain in the neck with those blizzards, preventing any kind of progress on that point. Graviton surges down. Can Shadowburn do it? No. Tvik comes out on top alongside Rogue.
And they have no time left. Rogue, they're going to be hyped up here as they win Hanamura. Absolutely incredible stuff. Really did not think they were going to be able to do it, but They make it through. What a hard game that was for them.
I mean, Hanamura is either your best friend or your worst enemy, right? You can move in there and cap it really quick if you're well coordinated, a la Rogue, or you can pretty much just grind it out the entire time, burn all the time, and because it's really hard to attack, and that's what FaZe experienced, and that's why Rogue went for Hanamura. But now we're left with Eichenwald and Route 66 as the last two options, and this is FaZe's pick.
It's going to be interesting. Rogue would have to make sort of the 3-map comeback here. Any mistake or any kind of a mess up here on the next 2 maps, and they're going to lose to FaZe, which would be maybe, I mean, maybe apart from REUNITED going out, be almost the opposite
I
of the
actually
tournament.
think this is even more of an upset.
Yeah.
Because, you know, remember Rogue was saying that, hey, you know what, REUNITED's out of this competition. They viewed them as their biggest threat. REUNITED gets knocked out, of course, in a very surprising fashion, but many pegged Rogue to pretty much run away with this one, this entire EU side to meet FaZe for the finals. But really, Zarya play, love it, because as a guy who appreciates some good flex play, Zomz came out huge numerous times for his team. And despite that, though, it still wasn't enough because Rogue held strong.
Yeah, they really did. That final point appeared to be almost uncappable. There was one point where they had the man advantage on the point, but then the respawn is literally right next to it. And a couple of times that blizzard that came out from Tavik just did so much. I mean, maybe most notably when it shut down the Dragon Blade that was coming out of Shadowburn. So it was very interesting. May just having a big impact. Also the ice walls, you see how they managed to get them up on the high ground. They boosted the McCree up. So much versatility and so many great mechanical skills coming out of May on Tavik. So that's very, very interesting.
Yeah, you know, May is able to make characters who aren't mobile, right, because of that ice wand lifting him up. But the blizzard was such a factor so many times. And look at that right there. You basically just froze out your main one of your main DPS on the point, your support, and your tank. Like, that is like the perfect blizzard that you could possibly have. And just May's impact in this series was just, you could not ignore it. And it was most notably courtesy of Tavik.
She also has some of the most absolutely annoying emotes and taunts, you know, the little wave,
it's so obnoxious,
stomping her feet and everything. It's the ultimate troll hero, and I love it. It's exactly what I want.
So you're that guy. You're that guy when the game starts and you just pop a May wall right in front of everyone?
Oh yeah, of course.
You're that guy?
There's no other way, because then, you know, you get your team fired up, right? They're already angry. They're already ready to kill.
And Cassandra over here is happy that Rogue was able to come back into this one. Let's see if they can keep the drive alive here and maybe force a Game 5, folks. Make sure you're using that hashtag OW Open. Get social about it on the Twitter. Let us know what you think. This is a good series, though. I didn't expect it.
No, I mean, we were sort of behind the scenes, you know, talking about this could be a bit of a blowout. We've heard stories about practice matches and just previous matches where Rogue have just run all over FaZe, and they just got tired of it. Today's they said no, and now they got they just go win one of the next 2 maps, and they're going to be going through. I won't rule out a 3-map comeback. I think once you win 1 map, your mentality changes. You start to you're reminded again. Oh yeah, that's how we do it, and it could be a little bit sketchy. So I'm curious what the 4th map is going to be here.
Of course, that 4th map will be a pick for FaZe. Keep in mind, folks, that the loser picks this one. And look at Reinforce, man. I mean, even a giant as a child couldn't even fit in that chair, you know?
He's...
yeah, still taller than Huck as well. I mean, Huck's this little just, you know, gremlin.
I just started laughing because our producer said that in our ear.
And I had to repeat it.
I just couldn't deal with that. Look, Johnny's 21. So I'm gonna call someone out on that. That can't be real. That was a CRT monitor. If you're 21, there's no way you would have played on a CRT monitor. Kids, there's no way.
You know, back in my day, kids play. Oh, look at that! Actually, Huck going in with that hot dunk. That he believes that his body looks like that, and you know, I just want to say, like, it doesn't. You know, it doesn't. But so one thing I just kind of want to point out, Reinforced being 21 years old and pretty much being the size of an average American building, kind of just makes me really hate my genetics. I got the short end of the stick. My brother's like tall and skinny and I'm short and fat. It's like, come on, man, toss me something, you know? Like all they gave me was this like barely passable voice. That was it. That's all I have.
It is, I mean, maybe it's just a Swedish thing. I don't know what's in the water up there, but they are beautiful people up
Indeed, they are.
All the way up
They are.
north. Well, we're going to go a little bit further south here, down to Germany.
See, I know nothing about
Eichenwald.
geography, so
No.
you got that one.
I was
You
gonna-
could lie and I would believe you.
I was trying to say, I should have done that. That's right, I should have done that. Moving over to Finland, where we find Eichenwald. Just trust me on this, Alex. All right, it's going to be 2-1 favoring FaZe as we're moving to the 4th map here. And very interested to see how this is going to go down. FaZe absolutely shocking us, winning the first 2 maps. Doing well on Hanamura, but not good enough. Rogue coming up with what almost seemed like a pocket pick in that map. And now they are going to be defending, while FaZe is going to be on the offensive here in 20 seconds.
So, again, what I like about Eichenwald, and I was talking with some people in the back about this, it's quickly becoming my favorite map in the game. And it's because I feel like there is just an incredible understanding of how you approach each phase. Each phase welcomes different challenges, whether it's this particular point here that has, you know, great flank opportunities, aerial flank opportunities for a hero like Pharah. Well, at the same time, though, you look at the final point, and that is like an incredible spot for a Genji to really shine because of the enclosed space. This map brings so much versatility to it, and we're going to see how FaZe are going to take advantage of this as Shadowburn is getting that pharmacy combo there and keeping the heals as well as that buff going. This is looking pretty solid so far, but I think Rogue, they kind of saw this play coming and were anticipating it.
Yeah, he dodged the hook for a moment, and Too Easy did pick up some very good kills early on right now. So actually Rogue being forced back. That's a hook, but he's still alive. He just didn't get the shotgun follow-up. Tavik is going to be going out now. This is looking fantastic for FaZe right now. A desperate charge to get out of harm's way, but Reinforced not going to make it. And I definitely think this is going to be FaZe's first point to cap, unlocking the payload and cleaning up afterwards. The damage boosted Pharah combination is so mean.
Really is. And also keep in mind that she is going to have the Rocket Barrage, Pharah. So Shadowburn looking to take advantage of this one as soon as possible. You know, this, of course, provides good opportunity for him, and his team needs to bring this objective forward. And 2 people on the point is plenty to speed this one up and bring it forward. But now it's Shadowburn's, all eyes are going to be on him, how he utilizes Rocket Barrage.
He's already hitting some direct rockets on Tavik. He's less than half health right now. One more, and there it is. Shadowburn. That aggressive play coming out, and you're right, he has the rocket barrage, but being a little bit lonesome for backup, he's not going to go for it, and I don't think that was a bad move. I think it would have been dangerous. They lose the fight. They have 6 ultimates. I don't think they even care, Alex.
They're
I think
stacked
they're
up.
fine with losing that fight.
But Shadowburn switches from Pharah and goes to Genji, and I think that's just because, you know, you could have stayed with the Rocket Barrage, but pushing the objective was a little bit more important to Shadowburn, so because of that, feels a bit more confident rocking that Genji and doing work. But there goes the Graviton Surge. Zoms is going to drop it down. No commitment to the Big Bang, though, because the Twin Blaster guns were going to be more than enough to take care of this and will actually pulse bomb the shield. But it doesn't matter, though, because Reinforced will fall. Here comes a Genji Dragon Blade that will be Tavik as well. Not Shadowburn, as he had just switched over to this character, and Too Easy could not stay alive as AKM picks him off from the distance. But this is going to be progress. And remember, Mercy with that resurrection. I understand why Rocket stayed as this particular hero, because that res is too valuable to switch out of, in my opinion.
It can definitely, I mean, there was a time when that was the metagame, literally on almost every map, just, you know, letting your team fight, then resting them, and then hope you just got the better rest off than the enemy Mercy. But we'll see Shadowburn kind of be coming down. There's the Dragon Blade out. Reinforce actually picking up a kill, and AKM taking out Fact Fiction is a bit scary. It's actually the McCree, Too Easy, picking up the first kill in favor here of FaZe, and they are fighting back and forth. Shadowburn still doing quite a lot of damage in the background. It is Genji versus Genji. And Tavik not going to be coming out on top. So They did use a lot of ultimates, but they also are going to be able to get the point here, I reckon. It's going to be hard for Rogue to reinforce this too much.
Yeah, and Raucus was able to pop the res to keep his team in this one. So overall, it's a really good push here. Fact Fiction does have that Primal Rage Winston, so remember that can come into play. But now Too Easy will find one, and that's going to be the fellow DPS player AKM who will fall. And also Tivik will be dropped. Look at this here, the shots from Too Easy really finding himself in this particular game here. Another shot clean on Nox, and this is going to be FaZe continuing to progress this. This is why they chose Eichenwald, because they have so much just experience on this map located in Finland.
See, there are going to be people listening who didn't catch the beginning of this map.
They're going to have no idea. They're going to say, man, that Goldenboy guy is a freaking moron. And they wouldn't be wrong. I admit what I am.
Ultimates, 3 of them up right now. Another one coming up soon as well for FaZe. They're actually in prime position to get a really good distance here in the final stage, which has proven time and again to be so difficult. Soms, you can tell he's thinking about it. He really wants it. They would have the revive as well.
They wait it out. Bait out those other ults, I say. Let Reinforce throw off that Earth Shatter, right? Let Unco use it. You have so much time to work with. Just wait for the perfect opportunity and pop that res. I think that would be a really smart play if they just allowed them that opportunity. But there goes Forsaken. He's going to drop the sound barrier to keep his team in this one, but it won't be enough because Zoms will fall. And now, does this happen? Yes, Raucus moves in there, gets the res, and you might see the Graviton Surge drop if necessary, but Shadowburn's continuing to apply as much problem and damage as he possibly can muster. Finds AKM, Fact Fiction drops Reinforce, and this is looking fantastic here for FaZe. They've continued to push his payload.
You called it. Som's not going to get the ultimate up, but it's pretty much what they did. They tried to save as many abilities as possible, waiting for the revive to come in, and once it did, they got a little bit further. Here's going to be a kill for Forsaken, taking down Wind. Backup is coming in, and Som still has that ultimate. Is he going to find the chance to use it? He's been very, very patient up until this point. And one big ult. If they get onto the point and that's what's left, it could settle the whole map.
AKM and Tivik are going to find 2. Here comes Wins with his Winston to just dive in on him because they realize that's been working. And Tivik's just going to charge out and just do some damage. And that is going to be 4 kills for Tivik. And you can't stand toe-to-toe with that man. He will shut you down in those situations. And Rogue get the clear. Now it's going to be time for FaZe to rally it back and figure out what they want to do next. They're going to have 3 ults to work with, and Raucus is really close to that nano.
Yeah, and we should just note that he did swap out of the Mercy. They don't feel like they sort of had the 3-man revive, and that wasn't enough to change it. So maybe they were like, all right, we tested that, it didn't work out. Soms has been holding on for this for so long. There's the Earth Shatter coming up. AKM, oh my god, the High Noon coming through, and he's gonna pick up 4 people behind the Earth Shatter. What can you say about that?
You know, it's funny because Tivik just does it, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm cool. Then AKM's like, wait a minute, dog. Okay, listen here. I want people to keep talking about me, all right? So what I'm going to do, off screen, not even worry about it, throw this down, you know, little Deadeye, get these 4 kills, no biggie. That's just what I like about Rogue, man. You have these DPS guys who can just show up at any point in time. But there goes Graviton Surge for Zoms. Finally decides to use it. Maybe a big bang? No. Too Easy's going to hold on to it and wait for the prime opportunity to use it. Not a lot of health remaining, though, so luckily for her, she was able to recall and work with the rest of FaZe to get right back into the action here. And that was the reason why Raucus switched to Ana, I should say, because while Mercy is a great single target healer, Raucus with that bio grenade, it really is a lot better to just have multi-heals, right, with that nade. Now this is like by the way, I don't know if you saw that, but a nano boosted Reaper will fall, and this is looking solid for FaZe.
Oh, that ultimate failed for Too Easy, but they still managed to pick it up right here. They're doing so much, pushing onto the last one. AKM on it, but he's going to be going down on the McCree. Tivik, can he stay alive on the Reaper? He's going to be going down. Nox next, he's trying, but it's not enough. FaZe, they're almost there, just a couple more kills, and they will be home. A huge Earth Shatter coming out of Reinforce, and a counter one coming out, but not quite enough. He's going to be going down. Onco as well. AKM and wins, and there it is. FaZe pushing to the final point with 8.7 seconds left. That's massive. That means they're gonna get the bonus if even Rogue can push it to the end. Those 8 seconds could be everything that FaZe had ever dreamt of. Incredible.
That was a sequence there. I mean, I think that just again, we really see the synergy between these heroes and how like just little subtle things like blocking an Earth Shatter or dropping a Bionade to deplete the health of the enemy team to, you know, speed boost to continue that movement, or maybe even, with the AoE healing that Lucio can bring to the table. It just really, the DPS characters are always the fun ones to talk about, of course, and we can dive further into the supports and the tanks, but really, it has been so fun to watch guys like Too Easy, Tivik, and most importantly, AKM go off with characters like McCree. This was this one right here. This was the 4. Oh, sweet Christmas. That was just disgusting.
They just all lined up. That's beautiful stuff. So yeah, McCree versus McCree definitely had an impact on the outcome of this game. It made a difference who played the better one, and it swapped sort of back and forth quite a lot. That high noon, it's not often we see someone get a quad kill with it. Yeah. This time it worked out beautifully.
I can't get over that, man. The reflections on the floor. You saw the reflection on the floor?
Yeah.
I'm too simple to just understand what I'm seeing right now.
Can we just make one like a full 3D model of Goldenboy?
Dancing.
Yeah, dancing as well. Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would actually like a 3D model of that one picture I tweeted out. That would be pretty dope, you know?
I'm impressed with Soms keeping the Zarya ult for as long as he did. I mean, I almost got to the point where I want to say it's too long now. Like, he's not even using it, but he saved it for like almost 3 team fights just so they could push it to the end, and they were there with 8.7 seconds, and now Rogue have to do better, and this is not easy.
No, not at all, right? It all depends on Rogue's start. They're going to rely on Tivik's Hanzo to really open the floodgates here, which I don't think is necessarily a bad idea. Hanzo on Tivik has definitely proven to be a great hero choice, but just look at the dragging that came through. Was that Fact Fiction dragging away Reinforce, if I'm correct, or the opposite? But it doesn't matter because it seems like FaZe are losing a couple targets here. Raucus, though, needs to keep his teammate alive, and that is the single target potential, but that is why Tivik's Hanzo was so critical there.
That was 97% ult for Raucus. He could have revived his team and they could have kept the point. Rogue now right on it. If you are gonna kill the Mercy, that was the perfect time to do it. Unbelievable.
He flew around the Reinhardt shield, so normally you'd be able to get behind that shield and be perfectly fine because he had it up. But that was just so well timed, and really just shout out to Tivik for reading the opportunity and saying, I just got to go for the shot, and he went for it and nailed it. Nailed it.
And now things get really tricky. At this point, look at if they all go for a fight on the low ground and Raucus just stays behind and sort of heals over the edge, but ultimately falls off the ledge and rise everyone. That is not a bad way to think about it. But what is that? Followed up with the dragon. So, oh my God!
Goodness!
It hit them, but not gonna hit Raucus. He can revive them. Can they go for a fight afterwards? That's one of the most unreal things I've seen in this game so far. They put the Zarya ult on the outside of the tower, following up with a dragon strike, and it actually works. Tivik doing more damage with the Hanzo in the back line. He's getting the split arrow, and it's not going to be enough. He'll finally go down. Shadowburn tired of those shenanigans and going to be picking up the Genji here, almost fully ulted.
Those were shenanigans. There's no other word to describe what that was besides shenanigans. It's just so insane. But you know what, though? Tivik realizing that while Hanzo and his T1 plays with the Dragon Strike are awesome, he needed to bust out that Genji to go toe-to-toe against the likes of Shadowburn, really wanting to deal with Fact Fiction as well, trying to just add as much damage to the back lines as he can. But here comes Shadowburn with the Dragon Blade looking for the target, and Tivik just having to back away, and I think that was just overall a really lucky situation. I think that Tivik had deflected that. I could be wrong, so please correct me if I'm wrong on the Twitters. But despite whatever you're seeing here, folks, this is very much going to be a Rogue hold just ever so slightly. They're still very much in this fight, just taking their time to push up this payload.
Well, Noxus took a very good job staying away from Shadowburn then. Just that in that corridor, once he got booped once, you saw how difficult it was for him to sort of try and get back in the fight. That was really awkward. So pretty good Lucio play, actually, single-handedly almost shutting Shadowburn down there. Now, We'll see how far they can go. It is 1-2 in maps. If FaZe win this, it's going to be all over. It's too easy picking up a good kill there on wins.
And that was really dangerous for Fact Fiction because he was in a really bad spot. But look at that Earth Shatter there that came out from Reinforce. That caught quite a few targets, but Reinforce going toe-to-toe with Fact Fiction here won't be able to stay alive because he got focused down by FaZe. And Tvik busted out that, oh no, he did not get to use it. So I thought I heard him begin the process of taking out the Dragon Blade, but no, he was killed before he could do that. Oh my goodness, this is do or die here for Rogue. They have 2 minutes and 47 seconds, plenty of time left on the clock, but FaZe is not making this one easy, not by a long shot.
No, and they have Fact Fiction as well. Could be defending with that big ultimate. Tvik going to be coming through the Dragon Blade. Oh, slicing and dicing. That's a quick double. They're all grouped up. Tvik is cutting them in pieces. It's going to be a third kill, fourth kill coming in now on Fact Fiction, and a fifth one there. Forsaken going to be going down. Destroyed by Tvik.
Did you hear some of the guys from Rogue just yell, let's go? I love it. I love it. That's what I want. You have to get yourself in this game. Listen, when I competed, right? And you know what? I'm making my, like top 128 runs, like maybe not getting close to the top 40, top 64, whatever. I like to trash talk. I like to get up and motivate my team. It's very important. And AKM, he's looking to motivate his team with a Deadeye, able to find one, able to get a second one on Shadowburn as well. And there goes Reinforce, just slaying away. And they're going to get another full clear on FaZe and keep this one going. Could Rogue do it? Could they do it with 3 minutes on the clock? That is the question here, Anders.
They've got such an incredible amount of time. I don't see FaZe holding this, but you never know. They are going to be running out already, trying to contest a point right here. Shadowblade coming out once again. Tvik doing so much damage. Dragonblade, sorry, and he's really looking for it. It's not going to be enough. Nox going to be going down, and that will be the end of it. Rogue pushing through. FaZe, they are going to get the minute, and that's because they still have those 8 seconds. That's why it was so important that they had some seconds left, but right now, the odds are stacked so heavily in favor of FaZe. I mean, that is just an unreal time to set on Eichenwald.
Rogue is on point. This was FaZe's pick, and they had a lot of confidence going into it, and it showed because they played some great Overwatch on their attacking phase. But Rogue just had one better, and really, I just have to shout out to Tvik for some stupendous plays with his Genji, and also Reinforce for some great clears with Reinhardt as well. You saw a couple of those with the Earth Shatter, and again, it was just, I think that this Rogue roster has woken up. They have woken up for sure, and this is a series here, folks. I would not be shocked if we go to Game 5, given the circumstances.
It is looking likely. 3 minutes and 50 seconds practically for Rogue as a lot of time. They're defending as well. FaZe have got a minute here. That means they have a team fight and a half, maybe. Even building ultimate with a minute can be tricky if you get denied early on. I would be very worried if I was FaZe right now. We'll see. They're hot out the gates, going to become charging in. We've got the Winston, we've got the Genji combination. If they can get it up and running, you never know.
It's all dives here. That's what they want. They want to dive right in, disrupt with Winston's cannon, and then, of course, have Too Easy and Shadowburn do what needs to be done here. But Fact Fiction having to disengage because he does not have the health. And let's see what we have. Another dive. So just looking to get right back in. And, I have to say, just a big shout out to your support, Unco, who just moves in there and says, we have to neutralize the Winston right away and makes the stop happen. Reinforce staying with the tried and true Reinhardt. And this is a clear. 19 seconds left on the clock. They have no ultimates to work with, save for maybe a pulse bomb from Too Easy. But you have AKM with the Deadeye and Unco with that nano boost. And with AKM with that Deadeye could very well just drop them if they're not careful.
They're going to be falling quite far back here, Rogue. That charge not really hitting anything. Now Reinforce very nearly going down. Very scary. He's going to be out of it. Tvik picking up 2 big kills. AKM joining in as well. They're coming in from the high ground. That's right. Rogue wanted to get back on the other side here. And now they're taking the fight, and FaZe almost all down. Just Fact Fiction left here trying to stay alive. It's not going to happen, and that will be the end. We're going to go to map 5, ladies and gentlemen. Rogue making it 2-0.
Going to Game 5. All right, I'm pumped. I want to cast more, man. You know, like, so this is
Oh, it's going to be one
insane.
more turn. Did I get it wrong?
No, well, regardless, I mean, they're going to have 3 minutes to get one point.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
I mean,
right, 3 minutes.
I'm going to.
I may have called that too soon. I was
It's
so
fine.
hyped up in the moment. I was sure they needed to at least get that.
I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy that
You're gonna be that
people
guy?
complain about.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
Here.
Look,
got it.
look, I actually thought for a moment, because you saw Rogue falling back, and they left Reinforced down on the low ground, I thought for sure, you know, they're going to be falling back, and that point is going to be halfway capped by the time they get into high ground. It looked really scary, but they had it down right, and ultimately just ended up winning the fight. I think they also had an ult advantage going into it.
Yeah.
So 3 minutes and 49 seconds to cap even 1 point here.
May have prematurely called it, but look at that time. 3 minutes and 49 seconds. If FaZe were to hold this first point for 3 minutes and 49 seconds, it would be one of the most epic things I've ever seen in the history of ever. Because that's a tall order to ask for from FaZe, especially with how Rogue have been playing on this map.
If it was the final point of the state of this map, you'd think maybe yes, but because this first one seems to be more capable, if that's even a word, it definitely seems like they should be able to. AKM going to be pushing up. He's got the Hellfire shotguns ready. Behind the shield on the other side, all FaZe just ready and waiting on the back lines there. Genji taking a lot of damage already, has to try and get out and escape, and he barely does. Shadowburn a little bit scary there. Now getting closer, AKM trying to chase him down with the shotguns. Deflect is coming out. It's just a 1v fight between these two. Some good shields coming in, and Shadowburn going to stay alive. AKM going down.
FaZe has to dig deep here, people, because if they don't, they will go to a Game 5, and that will be on Route 66. But for FaZe, they could end it right here. But a 3-minute hold will be necessary for this team to come out with the victory. And if they win, they will move on to face off against Misfits. That match will be coming up next. No matter what, Misfits, they are watching this one with a very keen eye because this has been quite the series thus far.
You know what, actually, this works. I'm going to say I cursed them with the early call, and that's the reason why it's happening. Too easy, up in the back line here with the McCree, trying to put the damage in and connecting a little bit, but now that Reinhardt shield on Reinforce, just absorbing a lot of the damage. We see him trying to pick up Tavik in the back line here. There's the Reinhardt. Just Slam going to be coming through, swinging the hammer on top of the Saria ultimate. Shadowburn picking up too easy with a double kill as well. And they're shutting out Rogue again. It can't be happening, Alex. I don't believe it.
So if Rogue, for whatever reason, in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, cannot cap this point, we will be going to a best-of-3 control. Just the fact that I even have to like say that, you know, it's just like that can even be a possibility. So far, this has been FaZe, and look at the ult management that they have here. They have Forsaken with that sound barrier, looking to keep him alive, and Too Easy does have the Deadeye. He did use it, but didn't really find anything with it. Did zone them out though. Now this is going to be Reinforced, opening up the floodgates potentially. Drops that one down, but will get dropped right away. There it goes, though, flying right in. AKM is going to get the kills along with his brother Wins. Looking for the closeout. They're going to get it halfway, almost there. Will we have a Game 5? They're so close, they could smell it, and they get it. And Rogue forces a Game 5, 4-3. Oh my goodness, Anders, I cannot even believe it. I am sweating. This is insane.
Absolutely unbelievable there. I mean, you're right. Reinforce got the Earth Shatter down, and then he was knocked down. But it knocked down 3 people. We were setting up the Graviton Surge so easily for wins. There was almost no way to come back from that. And then AKM ultimate on top. They had a really big ult advantage as well, just going into the fight, Rogue. It's not like FaZe had a lot of ults to fight back with. So I didn't quite curse them. They managed to bring it through Rogue.
I was about to say, there were going to be some pissed off Rogue fans out there, or, you know. Like
oh my God. They bring it home. That's 2 in a row. 2 in a row for Rogue. That's so easy to...
It is easy. We'll just move forward.
We'll move forward. 5th map coming up. Can you believe it?
Insane. I can't, I really cannot. FaZe, so just to recap everyone who just joined us here, we kicked things off with Hollywood and Watchpoint Gibraltar, where FaZe were able to come out on top there, and it was looking really scary for Rogue, but Rogue decided to go after that pick that was a little unconventional, a map that popped up and really caught everyone off guard, which was the assault map Hanamura. And because of that, they were able to come out on top, and they did so in commanding fashion. They looked like they were a different team on Hanamura. And then going into Eichenwald, which was a map that FaZe had a lot of success on before, this time Rogue said, no. We got this. We're going to handle this one. And now we're going to a Game 5 on Route 66. And Mowgli Art says, let's go, Rogue GG. The comeback is real. Of course, cheering on Reinforced Tavikan wins.
He's got all the players now. He's just.
I feel like we need more hashtags. We need more players.
Just more of everything. It's a strong Twitter game for that user.
I know what a strong Twitter game is like, so trust me, I get right to that last one, that last character. Anyway, though, guys, I think like to really break down this game, there were so many clutch plays, there were so many great engagements, but really it just boiled down to Rogue just capitalizing on those missed opportunities from FaZe here and there, and there wasn't even all that much. It just was, I can't even begin to break this one down, but look right here, AKM, all these things, like this doesn't happen. And I mean, it's easy. It's easy.
Once FaZe got to the end on their first go through, I really thought they were going to be able to take this one 3-1.
Oh, that was so disgusting.
Yeah, this is a very creative play. Think about how well you have to read the enemy team. You've got to imagine that he is putting up we can't quite see that on the HUD here, but there might have been a Sonic arrow to set it up with. Obviously, then he'd know that they had some people out there. And just imagine for a moment if they had got Rockers as well, who was playing on the Mercy, so that there would have been no revive. Could have been a little bit interesting.
Indeed, it could have been. AKM, by the way, man, he just had such a game, and really it's those like heads-up plays, like dropping the flash, not allowing the Reaper to get in your face, because we all know that those Hellfire shotguns from Reaper can just absolutely shred you. But now, going up here, Game 5, you couldn't have asked for a better series between these two teams. Oh boy, what a series.
Absolutely. Well, I am ready for it. I think it's impossible to predict right now. See Reinforce. He is certainly ready for it. He's fired up right now, playing on that Reinhardt. Obviously a pillar of the team. He has got to be in this mood. I can't believe it. He is exploding right now with energy. And I've got to say, Reinforce, in the past, he's been criticized, and I even think rightly so, for taking maybe too many risks. Something I'm noticing about his game is that he's very good at hitting those fire strikes. I mean, he's really getting the ultimate very quickly. And it's worth noticing, if you can predict how to get a good lineup, then you can get a good, 20, 30% ult in almost no time at all. And if you do it a couple of times in a row, it'll really settle the outcome of that first fight. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, Rogue. Think about the body language, Alex, they were displaying in the first two maps. They were looking like they were entirely lost. And suddenly, they're looking in much better shape.
They were looking like someone had lost their cat, Now, they found the cat. They're right back in this. I don't know where that reference even came from, but I'm running with it. Because the winner is going to face Misfits in the EU final. I mean, there's a very real possibility that we would have Misfits versus FaZe going into the European final, one that I don't think a lot of people really saw coming.
And on the other side of the bracket, on the NA side, Envy are sitting there thinking, please take out Rogue. We would just do our job.
You know what? No, they want to play Rogue again. I talked to them. They want Rogue.
Oh, they're looking for.
Oh, they're looking for that salty run back, baby. They want it. No, but I totally understand what you're saying, though, right? For Envy and going into TBS this Friday, it certainly would be, like very surprising if FaZe were to make it. But in any case, though, guys, this is it. Make sure you guys are getting hyped up out there if you're watching. It's Game 5, and we're not even done yet. We have one more match to come after this, but Rogue up, Rogue at 2, FaZe at 2. This is it. Whoever takes this moves on to the European final, and it's about to begin in 5 seconds. Rogue on the defense. FaZe needs to find something, channel in their just inner desire to succeed here, the burning desire to succeed. Can they do it? But can Rogue actually hold them back and look to go and challenge for their reign as one of the top dogs in Europe?
On top of the gas station for a moment. Fairly aggressive move coming out of Wins there on the Winston. Just going to be jumping forward. Shadowburn, they're pushing it forward right now, and he's hitting some decent deflects, but also some pretty good shurikens coming out, trying to build that ultimate before his counterpart on the other side, Tavik, and they're actually almost even. Going to be jumping in, but Tavik is down. Look at the Shadowburn just getting the kills. Unbelievable. Now fighting the McCree, and he's going to go for the deflect once again. Such a hard job for McCree right now. Shadowburn opening up this gas station. And look at this, he's just going to be dashing on in, following up. Reinforcer's going to be out of it as well. This is horrendous for Rogue on the first point.
He's got a brother, man. He's got a brother. But finally, AKM is going to just take care of business. But it won't matter because FaZe will drag this one, the payload, forward. And this is, let's see here, looking at the ultimates, we are going to have Fact Fiction with his Primal Rage, and Too Easy's going to drop down that Pulse Bomb, taking out Reinforce early on. That's a huge win on the engagement. We'll get them that checkpoint, though, in just a little bit. Surely they can clear this one up, but I give you what, that's a lot of credit to Wins for really just trying to delay as much as possible. But he's delaying the inevitable. They get that first checkpoint.
Very interesting. Going into the next fight, we do have 3 ultimates up for Rogue, and about to be 4 actually, maybe even 5 if Too Easy can get a couple of hits in here. So FaZe, if they take the fight at the right time, if they just delay a tiny bit, then they will have a pretty big ultimate advantage, I think, going forward. And that could be very interesting. Shield going to be pushing up there, Reinforce in charge, and they're going to be trying to see if they can knock anyone off here. Fact Fiction, but he's been slept on the stairwell, just going to be out it for a little while while his teammates are down. Oh no.
Yeah, realizing there's just not much he could do. And again, that is Ana's toolkit. 100% why this hero has become such a staple for all of these teams. Look at that, by herself shut down Winston. Like, Winston Primal Rage, the thing that's supposed to knock you around like a crazy person in the map, and just shut it down. That was a wasted opportunity there, and honestly, I don't even think Fact Fiction accounted for that. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have.
That's very hard to deal with, right? And you see them up on that bridge, you know one good sweep, and they're going to be falling off. Good Earth Shatter coming in here, but Soms has got the ultimate as well. He's going to be putting it out right there, catching a couple of people, especially the support. That's big. The bomb coming in Too Easy, picking up Nox, and also Reinforce, and followed up, getting a 3rd kill in. A massive play from the Tracer here on FaZe as they try and push through. Is it quite enough? Wins is still buying some time right here. He's out of ultimate, and now he's just got the lightning gun out. Wins eventually going down. Tavik also falling, and FaZe gonna continue on the right path.
That was a big, big win here for FaZe. I have to say, you know, just Too Easy. Giving them the Pulse Bomb double, which essentially knocked out their support, knocked out Nox, knocks them out. Anyway, so I had to. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I'm a terrible person. But Fact Fiction is going to get dragged down, though, and will actually, I think he went to sleep on that one, but regardless, doesn't matter because he's just going to rage out here and just looking to swing everyone around from this payload, try and get, you know, a little bit of progress on this one so his teammates can get the kills as these players are going to be knocked around left, right, and center. But now FaZe just having to disengage, and look at this aggression coming out of Wins. He will pay for that, though. He just wanted to meet them at the front lines. And there is a Genji around here, too. That was Tavik finally will fall. And here comes Shadowbird with the Dragon Blade, trying to take out one. Does he hit it? No, he will get flashed out. And that was going to be a kill from AKM, knocking out a Genji with so much presence in Shadowburn. Could they keep this one going, though? As it is just Rogue all occupied in front of the objective. FaZe having to back away with a minute left.
Wow, I thought they actually over-engaged their Rogue. It looked like Wins was too far in with the Winston, but they managed to turn it around, and quite impressed that AKM actually won that fight against the Genji. It looked like that wasn't going to be working out. Too easy, missed a bomb just a second ago, so now he's going to have to rebuild this ultimate, trying to get the damage in when he can. Sound barrier going to be coming out. A big earth shatter in from Reinforce, and Too Easy in the back line here. He wants to take this fight, but look at AKM. He's so smart. He still goes down, but he was anticipating that. He was ready with the flashbang. Another bomb through, and it looks like FaZe are getting some good kills in here. They just need a couple of more kills, and they're going to be able to make it through. And a big one there on Reinforce as he goes down. Now it's Winston versus Winston. The Primal Rage is out, and they're buying more time, Rogue.
I gotta say, that sound barrier from Raucus was really well timed, and he's trying to keep his teammates up with the appropriate heals, as well as, you know, fluctuating between speed as well as healing with the AoE, but they're just trying to keep them at bay. And look, FaCTfiction diving right in there and just getting in their face because they want to get right in the action, and they do get the checkpoint 2 on the board for FaZe. Final one, can they do it? FaCTfiction cleaned up, but that spawn's gonna happen to the left, so they're not too concerned about that one. He pops up and switches over to Reinhardt. Not a bad choice considering that you have so much of an enclosed space here. This actually would be really good for that shield to block some attacks out here.
I mean, really a lot of time being bought there for Rogue on the second point. They just burn the clock off on FaZe. Now they've got 55 seconds for this whole final stage. That is not easy. They do have one hold on Too Easy. That's almost all they have. This is actually very bad. Rogue are in a great position right now. Nox coming out. He has the sound barrier ready if they need it. Shadowburn going to be going down, and they haven't even used that defensive sound barrier yet. I think FaZe are not going to make it through it. I'd be very surprised if they could. Reinforce is a couple of seconds away from having the Earth Shatter as well.
Shadowburn's going to need that Dragon Blade, and he is going to have to deal with Reinforce because that Earth Shatter, we can see it just absolutely crush him, unless FaCTfiction blocks it, which would be absolutely huge. But there you go, nice deflection there. Takes out Tvik, finds one in the back lines. That's going to be an all and by herself. Ana, not much they can do there. Now looking to just focus down on Reinforce, able to drop Reinforce. They're pushing his payload forward, and at this point, it's all about progress. But if they can get the third point, that'll be really good for them. As we go into overtime, they have a lot of ults to work with. Wins has the Rage, the Primal Rage. The only other person close to it will be Unco with the Nano Boost. FaCTfiction is going to have to deal with the Rage out Wins. Dives right in there, goes to the back lines. Does he go for it? No, gets dragged on the side, but he somehow managed to stay alive, courtesy of Forsaken with the Transcendence. But a beautiful stop there from Reinforce. We talked about that Earth Shatter, how effective it could be, and Reinforce held that one down. This could very well be a stop here, and it is. Brilliant work from Rogue.
Wow. Reinforce timing everything extremely nice. Then he uses his charge after the first charge comes through. He waits on everything, and then he managed to clean it up there. I mean, lesson learned. Even the first fight that they had that pretty much was won by Shadowburn, just never underestimate him. That deflect coming out bought him the ultimate charge, and then he just went fully ham and killed almost everybody with it. I'm shocked to see it every time. They couldn't bring it through, but I mean, further than they otherwise would have had. So we'll see what's going to happen now. That was only the first half here. Second half going to be coming up. It's the final map, ladies and gentlemen. It could go anyway.
It really can.
Look at Reinforce. He uses charge afterwards, then he waits for the Earth Shatter, then he uses his. He's just eliminating that enemy Reinhardt.
I got to give Forsaken a shout out too, because that Transcendence was so clutch to save FaCTfiction when he got dragged by Reinforce's thrust. Like, just those little details. And although it didn't get them the third point, it's still, again, a very heads-up play out of them. But the other thing you have to always take in consideration in that particular point, right, when the payload is not as close as you would want it, those respawns happen so fast. And the point where you come out, if you're the defense, it's like right there. You're basically sniffing on the point once you walk through that door. So it was a tough one. And at that point, progress was what FaZe needed to get there. And there you see it. That is where Rogue needs to get to in order to win this one and move on to the European final. Anders, can they do it?
If I knew that, Alex, then I'd certainly make for a much better analyst. But I'm going to have to leave it up to Rogue to see if they're able to push on through. FaZe are going to be defending now, and they are choosing very nearly the exact same spot that Rogue did. So it'll be interesting. Shadowburn there to build a little ultimate early on. We had the same fight on the other side here. Just hitting those shurikens will help out a lot.
Yeah, you're going to see people go to Big Earl's, the gas station. It provides a lot of cover. You know, sometimes people like to meet them right underneath the bridge here, but typically the defense, especially in a situation such as this, would want to go to Big Earl's because it just provides you so much opportunity, especially with the high ground. So that's why the divers are going to be so important with your with Winston and Genji. But Tvik and Wins are going to be dealt with swiftly. And this is looking like a wonderful clear here for FaZe. They were able to open this one up nicely.
Yeah, I mean, they just got cleaned up, so already FaZe shutting down Rogue. I mean, there's 3 minutes left, so plenty of time.
So much time.
But think about some of these ults as well. I mean, as long as you're up on the gas station here, Reinforced, for instance, that Earth Chatter, not going to be easy to get off. He can't just sort of, you know, jump over like some of the more mobile heroes can. So unless the fight happens on the low ground, it might be slightly more tricky for Reinforced to find a good way of doing it. A good sleep being put in on Shadowburn, but he's behind the cover like you were talking about. That's what the gas station provides. Oh. There it is, going to be jumping up. Finally, they make their way in, and Reinforced, he's already used it. They pick up a good couple of kills, and Unko taking down Shadowburn, and now the screams are coming out of Rogue. They are so hyped up.
This is insane, Anders. Rogue could very well take this one. They add a lot of time left on the board, just under 4 minutes. AKM has a Deadeye, so look for him to use that at the opportune moment. But you know, either he uses it on the street to just zone him out and allow them to push the payload a little bit further, or he just waits till people expose themselves so that he can pick them off at the appropriate angles. There's just a variety of things they can do here, but also FaZe have a bunch of ultimates, and Too Easy can do the same thing as well, and that's going to be a pick on Tvik. So that will stop a very, very active Genji there for Rogue, and now you're going to see as FaZe are going to start to collapse onto the payload here and force FaZe back into the cave. Back to the cave you go, and now it's time for them to try again, but they also have 4 ults, Rogue. This is definitely going to come out to the ults here.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they hold on to them. And oh, he already put out the flashbang, so he couldn't actually do anything about it. But he's turned around. What a great shot coming out. Forsaken ultimately taking down Tvik, but Too Easy hitting some really good shots with the revolver. Another failed flashbang, but he's still doing really good work just manually with the revolver. No issue there. Getting a little bit close for his liking. Now the flashbang's up again, but it won't matter. He goes down just as that happens. So Rogue looking to win the fight here. Rockers can't survive, and that's actually a really good fight. That was a long, drawn-out fight there.
Yeah, but one thing I do like, though, is that FaZe, they didn't commit all that much to it. They still have Rockus' Nano. They have Fact Fiction's Earth Shatter. They did use the sound barrier, though, so that is a great survivability, ultimate ability. But I don't think it's going to really affect all that much here unless Nox just goes absolutely huge with his as well. But Reinforced is going to hit that Earth Shatter. And that is actually going to be pretty insane. I stand corrected because that sound barrier could have come in handy here. Fact Fiction, though, is going to get the nano boost. Shadowburn looking to deal with the tanks and properly drop that pulse bomb. Fact Fiction, though, is able to take out 2, but not before Tvik is there for the cleanup. And this is very well going to be a capture here for Rogue if it keeps going this way, Anders.
Look at Reinforce. He's just used his ultimate, and he's up to 85%. He is playing a mean Reinhardt right now. This is just very, very well done. It doesn't always seem like it because the scoreboard isn't necessarily lighting up with his name on it, but he is doing so much. That's 5 almost, yeah, 5 wins is having his ultimate now. Nox the only one who doesn't have his. This is terrible news for FaZe. 3 minutes to push through. They are at a massive ultimate disadvantage. I think Rogue almost have to try to lose this final stage here if they're going to do it.
Oh boy. 2 minutes, 45 seconds. For FaZe, it's an opportunity at the EU Finals, something that no one thought that they would be able to reach. For Rogue, though, it's a chance to continue to cement themselves as one of the best teams in Europe to face off against Misfits. But Tvik is moving in, slicing, dicing, and cutting his way down. And this is insane. Rogue get the clear. You hear the horn. They are right there. The finish line is in sight. Can FaZe do it? Zoms has the Graviton Surge, but you do have Wins who meets him at the front door, and he will have ultimate, so keep that in mind. Fact Fiction's gonna dive in. AKM now with the Deadeye. They're gonna leave people exposed. Finds one, that's gonna be Raucus who will fall down. The payload's right there, Anders. This could very well be it.
Well, now on the point, too easy the back line here. They're fighting the Tracer, not doing anything. Shadowburn down, too easy, gonna be down. They're pushing through Rogue. They're so close, they're all on it. There's no one there to stop them. And Rogue, they're gonna make it happen. They're gonna go through the European finals. They win it in the 5th map against FaZe. What an explosive game of Overwatch.
The comeback is real, folks. Rogue, do it. Down 2, and with a reverse sweep, make their way to the European finals, the face-off against Misfits. FaZe have to be heartbroken.
Look at Reinforced. There's a little bit of swagger in his walk there, you know, probably fatigued a little bit, but also they've got to be very excited about what just happened here. The ultimates that came in, just that last fight, Soms did actually put out the Graviton Surge, but AKM putting out the High Noon up top. They're very hard for anybody for FaZe to really engage that Graviton Surge and get kills on anyone who was caught in it, because they would have to run out of the open right into the High Noon. So that was just very tricky, and ultimately, I mean, Rogue being put to the test, this could have gone either way. It's time for them to wake up, because I'm worried that they came into this match being just a little bit too confident. They can't do that again against Misfits. We'll be right back with a full breakdown after a break. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone. What an incredible match between Rogue and FaZe. It went down to the last map, to the last second, and we can see here that Reinforced from Rogue is such a reactive player.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to know what Swedish curse words he's saying in all these on these compilation. That's crazy.
The big thing about him, too, is that he's a very aggressive player to begin with, so not is he aggressive in-game, you look at his reaction shots, and he is incredibly into it, and he is probably feeling pretty good right about now.
Absolutely. Well, why don't we check in and confirm that Malik has got Reinforced up there in the coop.
Thank you, guys. Oh, man, I can only imagine how you're feeling right now, man. You came up here and you sat straight down in the chair, man. What's going through your mind right now?
Nah, you're just doing work, you know?
Oh, you're just trying to play it cool. I'm just doing work. I'm cool. All right, so before I talked to Wins earlier today, and he was telling me that you guys really had no strategy for Shadowburn. You were just kind of going into the match and playing your game. Do you think that that might have been a mistake?
Yeah, that was probably why we lost the two first maps. Shadowburn had a lot of impact, and we had to adjust after the first two maps, so that was a big deal.
All right, so what type of stuff was going through the comms after, you guys were down 2-0, backs against the wall? What were you talking about?
I mean, we were kind of pissed, yeah, because we felt we were underperforming in a way, because we had good results versus FaZe in scrims. So, yeah, there was a negative attitude, but we knew we had to change something up, and we just played more Winston, more McCree, and it worked.
So would you credit that kind of to the reason why you were like kind of charging in, missing some of the earth shatters? It looked like you were a little bit antsy.
Yeah, one could say that, yeah. I mean, we usually play very engage heavy, and I continue to do so. But the problem was in our back line, and my teammates didn't have enough space because Shadowburn was on our back line all the time, so they couldn't follow up on my aggression. So I had to tone it down a bit, be more composed, and it worked in the end.
All right, so tell me what was going through you guys' mind as you made the final push. FaZe had already made their mark in the payload, and you guys had that final push. What was going through the comms?
We were way more positive because we felt that this was our game to win, and we knew we could do it. So.
All right, cool. So you're moving on to the EU finals. You're going to face off against Misfits. How are you feeling about that match, kind of coming off this emotional one?
We're still confident. We're still confident. We beat Misfits once, and we're going to do it again.
All right, last question. When are you going to dunk on Huck? Because I really want to see this. I really want to see. I've been like waiting for this to happen for so long.
I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, he's sitting there laughing. I don't think he has a chance. I don't think he really wants to do it. I think
I'm ready. We can go one-on-one anytime.
Oh, go one-on-one?
This didn't already
You
happen?
see the monitor, right? You see it.
I thought this was a photo of it.
I thought this was a photo.
Oh, I can't see it, but it's probably me dunking on him.
No. It's me dunking on you. Don't you worry.
Look back here.
It's
Look,
definitely
look,
you
look,
getting
look right
dunked on.
That's me dunking on him. All day, boy.
Well, anyways, guys, Rogue is moving on to the EU finals. Congratulations, man. Go sit down, man. Go get some water. You need a drink of water, man. Back to you guys.
Great player, Malik. You take care of them. Make sure those guys are ready to play their next match because it's going to be huge. It's going to be against Misfits, and they qualified to play against Misfits by beating FaZe in a really impressive manner. So let's start things off, breaking it down from Hollywood, our first match.
Yeah, I mean, for the first time, I feel like all day we've had two very strong, consistent DPS players on each side. AKM into Veek on Rogue, Shadowburn into Easy for FaZe. The big question here, as he highlighted and I have written down, is the fact that they had no way to shut down Shadowburn. They had no Winston, they had no McCree, they didn't make adjustments.
But the one interesting thing about Rogue's defense in the high was they still bought a lot of time. It didn't work out for them in the end, but you saw the entire thing with Rogue is that it's very rare that they lose a fight very decisively. They're able to stall things out, they're in and about, and you can see them losing a fight, and then somehow it's like, wait, all this time has gone off? So it didn't fully work out for Rogue in the end, but also at points was not necessarily the worst either.
Yeah, it was not the worst at all. The Hanzo worked out for Tavik. We haven't seen too much of the Hanzo being that successful just yet. I just feel like overall, it felt like, Rogue was a defensive team, FaZe was a very aggressive offensive team, and it was up to Rogue to make the adjustments, and they just did not do that. They tried to switch some things around, but honestly, the big hurting factor for them is that they have wins on Zarya, but that's also their flex player to Winston.
That is a problem when you look at that in terms of flexibility and turning things around, but I just want to touch on the OT a little bit here. When 2Easy and Shadowburn went in on the double flank to start things out, it was huge, and we talked about at the beginning of the day that for FaZe to have any success, they needed 2Easy to come in and have a big day, and he was effectively Shadowburn's partner in that setup. It's a big reason why FaZe had so much success on that OT.
Yes, for sure.
Black Star, I'm glad you're sticking with it. I'm glad we were able to inspire you here with these matches. Now, getting into Gibraltar, that was another victory for FaZe. Talk to me about it, ZP.
So going into FaZe here, let's talk about FaZe's attack going in. Shadowburn went in on the Hanzo and was able to take out Tavik's May early on. It just gave FaZe a lot of momentum going in. And Rogue, they tried to actually come back and defend that first point, and they just got full wiped. They gave FaZe even more ultimate, and FaZe was able to go forward with a whole lot of momentum as a result.
Yeah, this is a team that I said is very hot and cold, and we see that. They were blazing hot these first two maps, that Roadhog doing such a good job, and there's a question mark that, they lost to Dignitas in the group, something we never expected, and then they were here going up 2-0 versus Rogue.
And just a note there too, going back to the point about 2Easy in Gibraltar, it was the hangar phase where he completely went off, got 4K, was McCree level play that you'd expect to have a player like IDD QD, and it's just the power of FaZe when they have both their DPS engines working out was really good. And just more to your point, this did put them up 2-0 in the series, and of course, as we're going to find out as we go through the rest, it is really rough when you are the victim of a reverse sweep. It doesn't happen very often in Overwatch, but Rogue showed why you can never count out a team, especially in a best-of-5 series.
That's right. things changed for them in a big way here. And I think what's impressive too is how many different names came forward in each round for FaZe, while we always saw AKM and Tavik making the actions for Rogue.
Yeah, and this is where it all changed. You know, we had a very quick first cap for Rogue into the second, and they switched it up. This is where they kind of said, we need that Winston. We need somebody to shut down Shadowburn. We saw it even on the last map. It seemed like Reinforced was actually switching to Winston for a quick second, and then he switched back to Reinhardt. So they had it in their head. They talked about it after the game, and they said, you know what? We need to change something. And they forced Shadowburn to turn to that Reaper, and that's where it all changed. As soon as he was off the Genji, it was a game changer.
Right, and we've talked about this a lot on the desk in general for Shadowburn, is that it's not that he's a bad Reaper, it's that his Genji is so phenomenal that when you force him off by doing things like using a Winston to cause him to be under pressure, because that's the thing for Winston, even if Winston doesn't kill Shadowburn, you're still forcing him out of the fight and stopping him from getting the momentum he's looking for.
Now we're moving into the fourth map here, Eichenwald. Huck, talk to us.
Yeah, it was mostly just the adjustments. We see AKM being on McCree more and more often because they realize that this is the only way they can shut down that Genji. It's not only him, though. We talk about these star players that need more of a commitment. It's a combination of things. Not only did they need the McCree, but they needed the Winston on wins. And those two, that combination, even if they don't have a Zarya, is where it really changed. I would love to see Reinforce play Winston and then Win stay on Zarya. I feel like that combination might be better, but maybe they're just not comfortable in that setup. And that's what comes down to just being flexible. That comes down to Reinforce saying, you know what, guys, I can play that sick Winston if you need me to.
One thing that's really worth noting here, too, for Rogue as the series went on, I just felt like they had much cleaner combos going forward. We just saw, of course, the Graviton Surge into Dragon Strike. But that was an interesting place to put it. You don't always see it put in that particular area. The Dragon went to the sky, taking multiple heroes with it. And Rogue, it felt like, even though they were against the wall and were faced with the prospect of winning 3-0, they were able to get it together and move forward in the end.
The big question there was the Pharah. Why did FaZe change? They had the Pharah, they had it successful on offense and defense, and they just switched it up.
Well, all our questions were answered on that last map, Route 66. This was an incredible showing from both teams as well, and a great way to end the series.
Yeah, and I want to really highlight Unko on this map. He had some key sleeps on multiple heroes. I mean, and he shut down Shadowburn. Shadowburn, this whole match, had some really sick deflects. Not only Zarya ults, flashes, even though they were countering him, he forced his way in there and made big plays. Still, that is how good this guy is.
All throughout the series, despite the focus, you're right. I mean, he did get the big plays and all the rest. I did feel like, just in general, Route 66 was more of a tale of Tavik, too, where Tavik just, it's one of those things where maybe arguably early in the series he had some troubles, but he definitely came in strong towards the end. Some great moments, especially on the Genji, and I almost half wonder, it's like, wait, Shadowburn is doing all this to us on his Genji. Tavik, you're also a pretty good Genji player. Why not swap and have a heavier focus on that?
Yeah, and you could see those guys are really pumped up. It looks like we're going to have a tweet here. They said, they did it! My Rogue boys completed the reverse sweep in the E-League Open EU semifinals. Only Misfits stand between us and TBS. And hey, this was a momentum team. We said that FaZe would have a trouble if they ran into a little trouble, and they just couldn't pull it together.
Well, one thing I could not ignore while we were watching these matches, Misfits was in the other room cheering when FaZe was ahead, and they did not seem so happy to see that Rogue was going to be their opponent. So when we come back from the break, we will find out exactly how excited Misfits is to face off against Rogue for the opportunity to represent EU Friday night at 10 p.m. on TBS.